Paul, I'm gonna do an impression. Tell me who this is. Fuck you.
That's Vince.
That is little Vince. I don't know what was his problem.
That's Chad Vince. Yeah, he regressed from Sigma to Chad. I don't know, Alpha.
Whoa,
Sigma.
please. Yeah, Vince. Since we left in the month that we were absent, let's see, a few things happened. Had my 31st birthday. Whoopee!
Hey!
Yeah,
Happy
and also,
birthday
oh,
to you.
yeah, to the Skylar White
To you.
guy. Who thought of that scene? That was so horrible. You gave our money. Or Walt's like trying to throw the plant into the window. She goes, Walt, what are you doing? He's like, I want to talk to Ted. I just want to talk to Ted. Yeah. Also, in the month that we were gone, the main characters of Vince's group chat all left because I think they were tired of well, including me and Paul. We're all here, and Rob too. I'm getting a little bit of buzzing sound there. Yeah, Vince just wouldn't stop with the King of the Hill clips and all this other shit, and I couldn't take it anymore. I guess Robert got pissed about something else, but then I don't know, it was a whole thing. And then Vince is like, Paul hates me. Paul doesn't like the clips I'm sending.
When have I ever?
Okay, shut the fuck up, Vince. Zip it, Vince.
You know, the nice.
Good old.
We love you, Vince. There's no ill will. I just thought it was a little bit strange. You seem to be like, I don't know. You were doing this Chad mode thing at Josh's party, because I know he's listening right now. He was like ignoring us and like trying to hang out with the plumbers and like dancing around.
Yeah,
And even his aunt's like, look at Vince dancing.
The plumbers.
that shit was so funny when you said you're like, yeah, start a group chat with them.
Oh, with the plumbers? Yeah, see how it goes. You know what was really funny that I forgot about something totally stupid that I said? At one point of the night, they were playing, like, I don't know how else to put this, but N-word music. And I can't deal with that. And the dad was like standing there kind of dancing around, and I was like, Dave, you like this music? He goes, yeah, it's all right. I'm like, and he had a sweatshirt with an N on it. I'm like, is that what the N stands for? He goes, no, Navy. How disrespectful of me.
That was so funny. You know what was so funny too? When I show up, we're sitting around in these chairs around the bonfire. I see a jacket, and underneath the jacket is this plate, and I'm like, what is that? And then Dan lifts it up, and it's just like a perfect like triangle of like, or it's like a pie chart of equally
equally placed different meats. So you got chicken, asada, and pastor, all like in a perfect like pie chart looking thing. They're all equally put together. That my friend who was not invited to the party, he did that like almost as soon as we got there. He went and helped himself in the kitchen and got a gigantic plate of food. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna take this home with me.
We're like there for like 4 more hours later. It's like the plate's still full. He's like getting like actual plates of like tacos to eat then. But
well, that was so funny when we were talking and Josh's dad like sees the plate and he's like, hey, what's that? Who's that? And Paul starts like busting up.
Yeah, I was like, that's like Chekhov's gun. Like it was like the first thing I see, and then it just like comes up, and it's gonna be like a big old thing if it gets found out. And like Robert just like grabs it and hides it. Oh my god.
Well, you told Rob, you're like, I was hoping Dave would see what it was.
Yeah, it was just like, it couldn't get any funnier than it was right then, unless that happened. He's like, why the fuck do you have that just plate of meat there?
To take it home. To steal your food and take it home. Steal food from the party and take it home.
Oh my god, yeah.
And also what was that, Paul? Go for it.
So we were drinking too, but like nothing really happened. It was like watered down drinks or something.
Yeah, seriously, dude. I had like 5 or 6 fucking whiskey sours and like it barely felt anything.
Yeah, I had to drink my BYOB to feel a little something.
Yeah, man, they were watering down that liquor. There was like nothing in it. Didn't feel strong. I didn't feel nothing.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
the host supplies the liquor. I mean, why are you guys being stingy?
Serious, like yeah, seriously. Aren't I supposed to be getting drunk? It's like that's what I wanted. It's like all this time goes by, I'm drinking all this shit, and nothing happens.
Yeah, we're just getting like
That's-
mocktails.
That's just not right.
But otherwise, interesting night.
Oof. Well, you know, it was another great moment when Vince just kind of walked past us when we were all out in the front, and I guess his mom was there to pick him up. Robert's like, "Hey, where you going, you queef?" And Vince like turns around for a second. He's like, "Fuck you." Robert goes, "Go." He's like, "Get out of here, you fucking goober."
Robert kept pushing Vince and shit all
Fuck
night.
you. Yeah, he said something to Vince, and Vince turned around and made this like stinky face and like flipped off Robert. I've never seen that before. Just like a nice middle finger with the thumb. Yeah, Vince is on one that night, man. It's okay, Vince. We'll do another group chat at some point, and then we'll leave again by like in a year or something. You know, the process like restarts. You know, it's like life and birth and you know, love and death and all that stuff. It's
Well-
like a continuous cycle. It's like group chat, leave the group chat. Vince is mad. Vince is pissed. Because remember when Vince was fucking pissed at me about the group chat?
Mm-hmm.
And he left himself.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told anybody or on this show.
Yeah, I
This is
think
just-
you
this
have.
is super brief. Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he fucking. Oh yeah, dude! It happened during. I forgot it happened during the show. Well, I'll just do a brief recap. I think it was last year. Vince was saying a bunch of nonsense in the group chat, and I think I said something regarding his like aunt and uncle. I'm like, hey, watch it. I'm gonna tell Mama and Papa on you. And and then he left the group, and then he tells Paul, he's like, I just need a break, dude. Fuck, I just need a fucking break. It's like, what the fuck? It's like you can dish it out, but you can't take it. And it wasn't even like anything bad I said. I said something so stupid. I'm gonna tell Mama and Papa. Big fucking deal, dude.
All right, when we make the group chat again, we'll have Fred in, and he can give his perspective.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah. Fred can leave at any time, but you have to see what goes on.
Maybe that'll be like a good buffer. Doesn't want to be too spammy with Fred in there.
I can be
Yeah,
the
it's like,
litmus
I'll
test.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. What else happened since we were gone? Oh, Unblessing opened for Demon Sea. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's badass.
Nice big crowd. That was my first show with them. I think maybe one of the biggest or at least it looked like one of the biggest shows or crowds I've ever played in front of. And there were people pitting when there wasn't supposed to be. I don't get that. Like, they have these metal shows, and then I see people putting up signs on the pillars that say no moshing, and people were getting fucking thrown out for moshing. And Paul's girlfriend's like, how embarrassing.
That sounds like my kind of show, to be honest.
No pushing, no hurting Fred. Let him just stand there in peace, please. There was
Yeah. I'm too old for that shit.
well, that's okay. There was a funny moment too when after we had played, I was talking to Paul and Julian and his girlfriend, and Josh Black Josh. I've referred to Black Josh before. He kind of like comes up behind Paul and his girlfriend. He's like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he's wearing his corpse paint, and your girlfriend's like, "Oh, you scared me." And I look at her, I'm like, "Why?" Because he's black. I don't think she laughed, but Julian was like kind of holding in a laugh. Every once in a while, you know, I know you're not supposed to say certain things around certain people, but I have to sometimes like be funny if it's there. You know, I sometimes I can't turn it off. Like the N-word thing. Sometimes I just have to say these little things that come into my head. I sort of have to blurt them out.
The Larry David moments.
Yeah, what? Stop, spider! Yeah, something like that. But yeah, the drummer slapped a fucking studded gauntlet on me, and
Nice.
yeah, got to work.
Yeah,
It was a fun show.
Good set. Demon Sleep played for like a half an hour longer than they should have.
Yeah, Galicia could have got that time, buddy.
Yeah. These promoters need to get the sense knocked into them. There's all these shows like every weekend, and we hit them up like every weekend.
Yeah, you know something. Another example of me blurting something out. Remember, we were at that Cerebral Fusion show, and I told Michelle, I was like, "Hey, next time your sister plays a show, get us on the bill." Just like straight up, like I barely know her.
Oh yeah, that was another thing that happened. We ended up seeing To Violently Vomit, which is Disgorge, U.S.
We basically saw Disgorge.
And then Cerebral Fusion, and
from where? Spain.
Yeah, and then I think that was probably the most notable bands.
It was brutal death metal at the VFW.
Yeah, second year in a row. Last year we saw Dripping. I think that this show was probably a little bit better because there was more stacked with the Disgorge and Cerebral Fusion back to back.
There was this guy that, like, right when I showed up at that show, I guess he was in one of the bands, and he asked me for a cigarette. And he's like, I don't know, he was trying to make conversation with me, and the thing that he says, he goes, "Man, I wish Dimebag was still alive." And like, I didn't know what to say, so it was like an awkward second, and I went, "Yeah." And then he just looks at me and he like walks away.
Yeah, I think or he's like, "Oh, let me buy a cigarette, you know, like I'll give you $1," but Dan's like, "Nah, it's okay." He's like, you know, I always try to, you know, show that I'm not just begging for it, like I'm good for it. And then he's like, "Oh, okay, thanks, bud." And then he's like, "Dimebag though." We're like, "What?"
I said, "Yeah." And then he walked away, and then Julian's like, "That's the guy from so-and-so band." And Paul's like, "I mean, Dimebag, I thought I was the only one that wished he was still alive." Fucking change your tune real quick.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, we're just sitting out there, and then Dan is like, "Oh, cool shirt," to this one random like blonde guy. I think it was Necromantia, right?
Yeah, what I actually said was, he was walking by and I went, "Hey," like kind of loud and like abrasive. I kind of sounded like a dick. "Hey." And he's like, he turns around, "Oh." I'm like, "Nice shirt."
Yeah. Then we just start talking, and we find out he's the main, you know, songwriter for Lymphoma. You know that band, Fred?
I don't.
I think I shared them
so.
with you.
Lipoma.
The
sorry. I thought you said lymphoma.
No.
Yeah. No, I know them. They're the one the album cover, like the guy with like the giant drooping face, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking to him for a minute, and yeah, he's gonna be starting to play some shows, and he said that we can play once he gets one lined up, like in the summer for LA. So I'm excited for that.
He was telling us that in Greece, he's a Greek guy, I guess. He said that you can't even wear a Burzum shirt to like certain shows, or you'll get like beat up or something because of like left-wing activist crust punks or something. And
Really,
then
in Greece?
Paul kind of blurted out, he's like, "Nibba, that's gay AF." I was like, "Nice one, dude." Yeah, shit was pretty hilarious.
And who else do we run into? Do you know the band Anal Stab Wound, Fred?
I've heard them mentioned, but I haven't heard them.
It's the one-man band of the
Child Prodigy,
the Wunderkind, Nikhil, and he was playing drums for Cerebral Fusion, and I was chatting with him a little bit too, and yeah, it was just cool to see him in the flesh play drums because he's like unbelievable.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, he's really into his craft's pretty amazing. It's almost like he's playing the stuff without even breaking a sweat. It looks kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it almost looks like he doesn't give a shit, but he's playing the craziest fucking shit.
Yeah, and he's like for the biggest
really
bands, like he's playing for Cerebral Fusion, and
it's just like some little feller.
Malignancy, and then his own shit, and then a couple other projects like The Urgy, and
it must be a cool dude.
Yeah, East Coaster. So this was I don't know if it's first time over here playing, but First time I saw him, at least. So that was cool.
Yeah, I guess it's on the hush hush, but I ran into like a new member of Incoffenized. Apparently, they're fucking coming out with some new shit. But that's okay. There's only like
Oh, the
maybe
guy
like
in the
20 something
Discord
people
shirt.
listen to this. Yeah, the guy with the disgorged
Yeah.
T-shirt.
You saw
I think that's the only
Past
reason
tense.
I talk to people at shows.
the shirts.
Is
Cool shirts?
Yeah, the guy with the if it's bands I like, then there's a chance that we'll get along.
Oh, and then I was.
What
in
if I
the,
showed up at a show wearing a Pikachu shirt?
I love Pikachu. He's so freaking cute. He's cute as
Alright.
fuck.
Does that work?
That's a shocking shirt, Fred.
I don't
would you
have
wear
a
that
Pikachu
here?
shirt, but I would. If I ever find a Pikachu shirt that I think is like just ridiculous enough, I would totally wear it with my leather jacket, with all the band patches, and just see what the result is.
Bro would look like he's like at a fucking like L Storm show or something, or no, like Baby Metal or something.
You're like a
I
big
don't
freaking
know.
baby.
I think
You have
that
to be a big baby to listen to baby metal.
I think whoever goes to Baby Metal shows probably. I'm gonna assume here.
Probably
doesn't
deserves
have a
mass
lot-
genocide, right, Fred?
No, just doesn't have a lot of the patches I have on my jacket. I can't imagine someone going to a Baby Metal show with a reincarnation patch on their jacket. You know, the Colombian
That's a
band.
good question. I know
Reincarnacion, whatever you want to pronounce it.
reincarnación. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a really interesting topic, though. I know the dog has said shit about this, where it's like, oh, how many people who are at a Cannibal Corpse show do you think are actually into like underground stuff? And my question is, how many people at a Baby Metal show do you think would be into, like Fred said, like Reincarnación or fucking whatever Fred bands, underground
But then,
stuff? Do you think?
at the same time, if someone asked me if I wanted to go to the Baby Metal show, I'd be like, sure, why the fuck not? What do I care? And then I'd wind up wearing that jacket because that's just what I wear. So, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, but I'm saying like, how long do you think it would take, like, or would it even happen that you run into somebody who could like have a conversation about underground metal at a Baby Metal show?
Oh, I think I'd be talking in the mirror.
That almost sounds like Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
I don't think that would happen. Right?
You would ask me.
I mean, would
you would ask me to do that in a text, and then the text self-destructs.
You would just have to like find one of the roadies and like pull him over. Like, hey man, what bands were you touring with before this?
Jub is into all that Visual K stuff, but does he like Baby Metal? I don't even know. Does anybody like Baby Metal?
I mean, what little I've heard of them is catchy and fun. Like I don't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
agree.
I wouldn't say I hate it, but I haven't gone out of my way to listen to it.
Me neither. I mean, I know the one song, the "Gimme Chocolate" song. I think I've recited that before on the show. That's the song I like, because it sounds
So,
like funny,
already
goofy
more than I
anime
know.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's kind of their shtick, right? And it seems to work for them,
Sure.
so good for them.
yeah, fine. It's almost like one of those. It's so weird to say this, but almost like one of those European bands that are like advertised for kids. There's this one band, I think they're called like Heavy Saurus, where it's like guys in dinosaur costumes fucking playing heavy metal shit. I guess Baby Metal's at least a bit better because it's like chicks in skirts or whatever.
Isn't there
Rather
a
than
doom
fucking
metal? Isn't there a
dinosaurs.
doom metal band called Snorlax?
I don't know about that one, pal.
I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah, now I need to look it up. Snorlax.
I was gonna say.
There are two bands named Snorlax, according to
do
Metal
you
Archives.
Black and Sludge Doom. Oh my god. The one from
One from-
Canada. That lady looks like Snorlax. Oh man, these band members look like some like people who I would never want to fucking talk to.
What is this? What have I done?
It's always Doom, man.
Yeah, they would. There's something about sludge that attracts like the worst people who you don't want to be friends with.
Okay, here. I'm gonna go to the Australian one instead. A black and death metal band called Snorlax. Okay. They have the Necrotrophic Abyss from 2023. The album cover's decent. song titles look normal, but they're just called Snorlax. All right. Well, that's
It's sort of hard to tell. Well, I mean, this guy is playing in a skate shop, which I don't exactly know if that means anything good or bad. And the artwork kind of looks like it makes this look like it's decent, like nothing special. Newer Black Death. It looks kind of expected. Well, I guess that's the only thing I can say about it. Just judging by the
yeah.
aesthetics of Snorlax.
I don't know.
This is
I
a this is a funny song title. Track 3 off their demo. It's called "Boring Infestation." Not bad.
do they mean like boring as in dull or boring as in they're tunneling?
Good question. Either way, I like the song title.
Huh?
I imagine boring, a boring ass infestation. It's like, are you kidding me with this
It's like
infestation?
locusts again.
Get a life, whoever.
Ugh.
What were you gonna say, Paulus?
Oh, when
General Von Paulus?
when I was at the show, I was wearing the Laketia flame shirt, and then while we were watching Cerebral Fusion, some guy tapped me on the shoulder and he's like, "Hey, I just found your new best friend." And then this guy's wearing like a black variant of the same shirt. I'm like, damn! Of all the places and of all the shirts, this one happened to have a match. Because what the guy in the Discord shirt was saying, he's like, "Oh, I had in my mind, like how many of these like heinous killing shirts am I gonna see?" And there was like maybe like 10 people wearing them and shit. It's like the new favorite YN brutal death metal band.
Yeah, try collecting T-shirts of bands that you imagine most people won't have. See what the outcome is. If everyone tries that at a show, let's see who's got the most unknown thing.
Yeah, no more Pikachus. We know that Pokemon,
New,
Fred.
new. Well, what I can do for Fred is I have a Pokemon blanket and I can mail it to him and he can wear it like a cape. Shows.
I think that's going too far.
Too far?
Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
Put some patches on it.
That's just too much effort.
To put a Pokemon blanket on as a cape?
It's like too much mental effort.
Then you got to think about it all night. It's like, I'm wearing a cape.
I'd be like, this is. I would just be like, this is too dorky. This isn't. I can't do this.
No, you gotta have.
This is too dorky.
You gotta have Pokemon pride.
Said Fred never.
Yeah, you can't even think about it that way. Just have pride in your Pokemon awareness, dude.
Just Poke Pride.
Poke pride.
But Fred, I've been dying to hear about this goose story of yours.
Goose? Oh yeah.
Yeah, what happened with a goose?
And the rest of your time off.
I donkey kicked a goose. Just fucking. So I obviously.
From the back?
The face.
From behind you?
I can imagine the face.
It was behind me. Yeah. So I'm at the zoo, and I'm with my kid. She's in a stroller, and I'm walking just along the pathways. A couple friends with us, and we just walked by a goose, which is normal. Canada goose, by the way, not like your regular normal goose. Canada geese, for people who don't know, are fucking nuts. These animals are dangerous. We call them cobra chickens for a reason. But so as I walk by, it like hisses at me, which is unnecessarily aggressive. I'm like, all right, calm down, and I just keep walking, and I just look back and I see it following me. I'm like, all right, what? It's trying to get me to go away. That's fine. And I keep walking, and it's still following me, and it starts hissing again. I'm like, okay. And then it starts picking up speed, flapping its wings, and hissing. And getting into that fucking crazy Canada goose attack formation. I'm like, all right, this is not going to go well. And I just keep walking at the same pace, and when it gets to about like a foot behind me, I just like kick my leg up backwards and like just kind of smack it under the beak with my foot, and like not hard enough to hurt it, but enough for it to go, what the fuck was that? And it kind of just stopped and looked really confused. It's like, wait, what? They normally keep they normally run. What was that? And the friends I was with just doubled over laughing. 'Cause I don't know if you guys remember that video of a dog getting attacked by a kangaroo in Australia.
Yeah.
And like the owner just runs in and punches the kangaroo and is putting its dukes up. This was like the Canadian equivalent. This goose starts chasing me and my kid and was like right in the face.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, that was my goose story. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this thing?
You're a hero, Fred. You're a real hero.
But no geese were harmed in the making of this story. Embarrassed maybe, but it wasn't. It was not an injurious kick.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna.
I thought you meant you kicked the shit out of it and its head exploded.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna make a down jacket out of it.
You
If
can
I
make a
see it
hat
again.
with a fucking goose head. That'd be sweet. Like the crane hermit from Dragon Ball. He's got like a
That'd be
crane
really
coming
weird.
off his head. Like in Orange County when Jack Black's like, it's like, I got these ideas, man. I can make a hat. It goes. And the guy kind of does the dip, and it looked like a bird head. I don't know what the fuck that was supposed to be. Yeah, dude, we actually have Canadian geese in California too.
Oh, I'm so
That's where
sorry.
they migrate.
Yeah, they migrate.
Yeah, they're fucking nuts, aren't they?
Yeah, I think like a day after you message us, you're like, I have a goose story. I was at the park with my dog. And I come out of the bathroom, and I don't have the dog on the leash because he just like stays near me. And as soon as I get out of the bathroom, there's a goose there with his wings up, hissing. And I'm like, come on, Dean, like walk the other way. And then it flies at my dog. It wasn't like, it was pretty close. So it kind of starts flapping its wings in my dog's face. And like, I started yelling. I was like, I got her. I didn't hit the goose, but I like yelled at it. So all the people on the tennis court saw me yelling at a goose.
That's what they drive you to do. They are that crazy. They make you do
Well,
things
yeah,
you
it's
wouldn't
like they're
normally
fucking
do.
bastards. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
unprovoked.
Oh yeah, no, they're full of rage.
I
that
think
was,
the next two times I brought my dog to that park, when we go near the geese, he stays very, very close to me.
I thought you were gonna say you like put them in Kevlar or something.
No, he just stays real close. Like usually he's out running around, but he sees those geese. He knows what they're capable of. Because it's weird. It's like he would ignore the geese. He doesn't ignore squirrels or other dogs, but like ducks and birds, he doesn't give a shit. But now he's aware of what these like two-legged winged monsters
Demons
what
are,
they
yeah.
are. Yeah, they're kind of crazy.
But I think that was the most interesting thing that happened to me since our last recording, which kind of tells you something about my life. But Jesus Christ.
No shows? I thought you went to a show.
Oh no, I saw Mayhem. Yeah, that was. So I missed the first band. It was I don't remember what they're called, but whatever. And I showed up when Imperial Triumphant were playing. Man, they're terrible. Fuck.
Are they terrible?
I was like ready for it to finish as soon as I got there.
So they wear those golden masks and stuff, right?
Yeah, visually, actually, I really like the visuals. It's like a really cool, kind of creepy Art Deco approach. So, like, visually, I appreciated it, but, like, the music, I'm like, no, nope, not for me. Done.
Well, how would you describe the music?
Boring?
It sound like black?
I-
It's supposed to be black metal, right?
I guess, but it doesn't. I don't know if I would describe it as dissonant, but like it was trying to be more than just black metal. In the same, well, no, not in the same way, but like Deathspell Omega is rooted in black metal, but takes it very far in like the technical direction, I guess. Maybe I don't want to call it progressive, but
The Mastodon riffs, yeah.
yeah. So like,
It's one of the Mastodon black metal bands.
yeah, I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but like, I don't think they sound like Deathspell Omega, but like, it's kind of got that level of pretentiousness to it, but
Are they like post?
a bit maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it probably has something to do with like emo music or not. I wouldn't say hardcore, but like, God, what would even be the word for that kind of music? Fucking, I guess what people would call avant-garde, but to me that band just sounded like Liturgy, who
Yeah,
weren't
just
who
post
weren't very
black.
good anyways. It did it kind of it's like Death Heaven a little bit. I think all these bands are they sort of all
Maybe.
have the same sound, and they all
Black
say like we're
gaze.
moving black metal forward. Yeah, there you go. The shoegaze stuff. It's like black gaze. I would yeah, black gaze. Yeah,
Yeah, it's.
we've made that joke before. It's okay. We've been
I
out for a
mean,
month.
you're
We can recap.
you're probably right, but I don't know liturgy. I don't know Death Heaven very well either. So either way, whatever Imperial Triumphant are, I didn't like it. Aside from like again the visual, like visually really cool to look at, but the music was not for me.
It's like, oh, you guys should be backup dancers or for some mayhem or something.
No, like you guys should be like good or something. Um, so
Oh yeah.
then it was Mortis, and I saw him once before. I want to say in like 2017, 2018, around there.
You probably wish you had that Pokemon blanket on, just take a little nap.
Oh
Ha!
yeah, it'd be great to like just lie down on the
Halo and
couch and listen.
Blanky Dungeon Synth, brah.
But you know what? No, he was a bit more visual this time because like the first time I saw him, the set it was like a really small bar that I saw him in, and he had like some fake dead trees on the stage and stuff, so it kind of had a little bit of visual. But this time he actually had a live drummer, and like when I say live drummer, it's got like hit the drums like once every like 3 minutes. But still, it was he was there for
Percussionist.
emphasis. Yeah, yeah, percussionist, I guess. But it was a bit more engaging for that, and it good set, good mix of his music. Like he started right off the bat with his first album or material from his first album, and that was awesome because I love that. Yeah, really good set. Mayhem, second time I see them, and this time was better because last time I saw them, they opened for Cannibal Corpse, which meant that this time they just had the time to do whatever the fuck they wanted. And they really just like went and went and went, and they were playing for like a solid 2 hours. They did the reverse chronology thing again, so they started with the newest stuff. What Demon, their newest album, and then backwards from there, Esoteric and what was it before that, Camaro, whatever. And so those like were well performed, but they're not songs that mean a lot to me because I haven't really spent too much time with post Euronymous Mayhem. I used to have Grand Declaration of War, wasn't a huge fan, but they actually played the song I liked the most from that anyways, so it worked out. And then they got to and every time they like changed eras, there was like some sort of costume change. And when they got to the DMDS era, they all came back out in black cloaks and looked pretty badass. They played the classics. They played DMDS itself. They played Freezing Moon. They actually played Funeral Fog, and Attila went off stage when they did Funeral Fog, and they used the recording of Mayhem performing it live for vocals, which was kind of cool. Kind of an homage to him, I guess. And then for the Death Crush era, like they just absolutely just banged it out, and they were really on point. Hellhammer's a crazy drummer, but
Did they play pure fucking Armageddon?
I believe so.
Love that intro of that song.
You sounded like fucking Tony Soprano real quick.
Why not?
But yeah, no, that was a great show. And when it was over, I did not stick around. I went straight the fuck home and went to bed.
Bye.
Bye. I'm out.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you were a fan of any of the later Mayhem stuff, because only recently I've listened to everything up until Ordo, whatever.
Oh yeah,
Ordo
Order Up Cow.
AD
Yeah,
Cow or Chow,
forgot about
whatever.
that one.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've heard all that stuff in passing through the years, but like actually checking it out in recent times, it's not too bad. It's like it almost seems like like what we were just talking about, the fucking black gaze or like Death Spell Omega thing, but like taken to a place that's actually still black metal, and I can
Mhm.
appreciate that. It's still kind of avant-garde and weird. But it's definitely more actual metal shit, which I can yeah, can appreciate that.
I think for me, what turned me off most about Mayhem is Grand Declaration was had its moments, but was really experimental, and I didn't really like what they were doing with it. And I was waiting for whatever was to come next to come out, and it did, and it was Chimera. And I don't think Maniac is a particularly good vocalist at that point.
Yeah.
And he just kind of sounded like Donald Duck, and I couldn't take it seriously. So after Chimera came out, I kind of gave up. I haven't really heard a whole lot from Ordo or Esoteric. I did give Demon a listen in passing, and I remember thinking it was okay. Uh, but I mean, I get it. Like Necro Butcher was there at the beginning, but like Mayhem without Euronymous kind of just feels like, what's the point?
I get it, but I mean, I feel like at least they kind of at least there is more stuff by some of those guys, which is
Yeah, no, there
interesting to
is
me.
because
What about Wolf Slayer Abyss? You like that one at all?
more than most of them, more than of everything they did after got back together. That's probably my favorite, I guess. But no, Grand Declaration had some moments. Like there's a song, I think it's "View from Nile." That one was okay, but by and large, wasn't a huge fan of that.
You know something
No.
too? I forgot. At the Demoncy show, there was something funny that happened. I think you guys might have seen the picture on Instagram. Uh, there, I went there. They have like a backstage area where you can like be right next to the stage where they keep all the band equipment and stuff. And they
Hmm.
had beers for all the bands, like free beer for us. And I go back there to get a closer look, and the other guitar player from Unblessing is back there, and there's like these four Mexican girls back there, and they're drinking all the beer. It's like, how did they get back there? Why are they? Who are these girls drinking all the beer? I knew one of them. She's like, "You look familiar." It was what's her name? Priscilla. I think we went to Indio together a long time ago. Not together, but she was there at a party, so I kind of know her. Don't want to get anybody in trouble. And you know what? A loophole I figured out. Everything I say on the show isn't real. Didn't actually happen. Boom, loophole.
Never happened.
Can't get in trouble now, can I?
Best metal.
Well, I say that because I don't
fiction.
want the girls to get in trouble for drinking the beer. I'm only retelling because I thought it was slightly funny. And then I took a picture of Rigo and the girls and I posted it on Instagram. And some NSBM guy, he's like, "What the hell did he say?" He's like, "Since when does Demon Seas attract the Latina baddies or something?"
What?
I was like, "Okay, very good."
Yeah, that was that
I
AI
could
photo.
do a collection update, but that would be here for like a couple hours.
Just
You can
give
do a
us,
collection update. You want to do that, Fred?
just give us the
Oh
skinny.
my.
Hit us with it. You can do whatever you
Okay.
want, dude. It's your show.
No, I'll run through them really quickly without going into the stories. Urukai's Side of Eternal Eclipse, Temnosaurus, Sorcery of Fragments, Immortalis, Indicium de Mortuis. This one I was stoked about. Hellfire's Dominion from Disaster, original LP.
No stories, no stories. I'm just
No,
kidding.
only the good ones. Uncanny, Splenium for Nyctophobia, Iberian
I like that one.
Darkness. Yeah, that's a great one. Compilation of Spanish bands, tribute to the Iberian scene. Graveworm, Scourge of Malice, Gothammer's Ancient Nature. I got 2 copies of the Bakira Desolation Triumphalis split. Because the first one I got had a really bad corner bend. I wasn't happy with it, so now I have 2. Cannons, not metal, but bring them up because Fever Dream and Heartbeat Highway on vinyl because they're fucking awesome. The Nagelfar Morgul split demos from Norway. Same with Imperium and Mactatus demo split. Moose Gut, Nature's Embrace, the third album.
Who's got cool guy?
Acheron, Anti-God, Antichrist. Hakovitz, Katon. You guys, if you haven't heard of these guys, you would probably like them a lot. Zvrator from Czech. The Complete Asphyxiation. They're like a death thrash band from the early 90s. So that's ZVRATOR. The EP they put out is probably the best from them, but it's all pretty cool.
How did you spell that? ZV? What?
Z.
Yeah, ZVRATOR.
RATOR. There they are. Czechia?
That's the one.
Asphyxiation. Doesn't look familiar, but yeah, I'll check this out.
Yeah, the 7-inch is really cool. The Holy Virgin LP from Matricide. The Recluse demo. Black Famine from Recluse as well. The first version. Befouled Serenity, a Canadian band. Their demo. Embalmed from Mexico. Exalt the Imperial Beast. One that you guys might like, actually. Cryptic Howling. With cryptic spelled with a K at the end. I don't know why. The first album, Vidia Mintus. It's Canadian melodic, kind of symphonic black metal.
This is the one
Really
with the girl on the cover?
Yeah, really bad visuals, but musically pretty cool.
The artwork is bad. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's got a bad
Even
case
the
of the
logo's bad.
yeah, no, everything about it visually is bad. The booklet is terrible.
Yeah.
But musically pretty cool.
Okay. Like
Some
videos
cassettes, Blods Band, Hromo Vlad, Nordwind, Nuclear Hammer, the reissue of Dissected Humanity by Anatomia on vinyl, Snow Cover the Northland from Ancient Wisdom, Soldiers Under Satan's Command from Ritual, Southern Corellian Black Metal Holocaust from Evil and Satanic Warmaster cassette.
That's pretty good.
Some Blazebirth Hall cassettes, the Hammer Crid compilation, As a Blaze, and the self-titled from Forest, both on Stellar Winter, the Black Tower demo from Warlogue, White Metal's 2008 demo, and
White Metal. All right.
2010 demo from
Another
Xibalba.
answer on the black metal trivia.
Yeah. There you go. And I have some shit on the way, but that's for another day.
Is the
Yeah.
White Metal, is that the Tread the Earth demo?
It is.
Okay. I've heard a lot of their stuff, but I don't know if I've heard that one. And
I haven't had a chance.
That's a black metal band, right?
It is. I believe they're Canadian.
Okay, because I have a vinyl from a band called Nordwind, but they're like oi punk or something like that. Maybe RAC, I'm not exactly sure. Some kind of German
that one I'm
punk.
not terribly familiar with either. Those cassettes that I got, aside from the Recluse, but the Blods Band, Hromovad, Nordwind, those things were given to me, and I don't know much about them, and I haven't had a chance to listen to them yet. So I know Nordwind's Canadian, Hromovad I don't know much about, and same with Blods Band. So yeah, we'll find out. Give them a spin one of these days.
I went to this I don't even know what you'd call it. What would you call Frankensons, Paul? Like an indoor swap meet?
Yeah, just kind of like nerd shit though.
It's an indoor swap meet for nerd shit. So
I like it.
I went there, and it's almost impossible to find parking, but I got my ass in there, and one of the first little stands I went into, I saw a Master Roshi figure. Well, when he's dressed up like Jackie Chun in Dragon Ball when he's wearing the disguise. So I got that action figure.
What did you trade for it?
I didn't trade for it. I paid for it.
Oh.
Traded money.
I don't want to tell you how much I bought it for.
Oh, come on.
Freddie gets
$80.
All right.
I know it's expensive, but I kind of had in my head, like I want something Master Roshi related, and I saw it, and there it was. And then I hit up this goth chick's booth, and she had a bunch of CDs. So I bought fucking Ravens Wiped Out and some album from Running Wild. That's okay. One of the albums from Running Wild that no one's ever heard of. Yeah, but I listened to those on the way home. Those are cool.
Oh, did your car have a CD player?
Yeah.
Nice. Mine does not.
Damn.
I don't think we heard from Paul about. Did we hear from Paul about his fucking trip to fucking the place?
Mm-mm.
Europe? We didn't. Yeah, tell us about that. Tell us about your pickups and your experiences.
All right,
Right
so
now.
I went to London and Edinburgh, and we went
Bruh.
to all the, touristy spots like the Theatre District. I think it's like the Coven Market and Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, and the statues of
More like fucking ham.
Churchill and Gandhi and shit like that, and the Westminster or Minster Abbey, like the big old church there, and we saw like where the king and the queen stay, their place,
The king crab.
and went to a couple museums. And it's kind of weird though, at the British Museum they just have like all these really old ass shit just like on the floor, not behind any rope or glass, and like people are just like fucking touching on them and like leaning on them, and like these Egyptian thrones and like pharaohs and shit. And then they have like the
A
mummified,
bunch of fucking savages.
yeah, then they had like the mummified
Mummified?
mummies just on display there too.
Mummified mummies?
Yeah. And then, yeah, I took the tube a lot. Had some Guinness that was as close as I can get to having one from Ireland. And they had these shots called Baby Guinnesses that were really good too. It's just like Kahlua and some other shit. Saw like the London Bridge, the River Thames.
Was it falling down, yo?
No, they got it back up.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
Yeah, and then ate some fish and chips out there. So they're just like huge ass, basically like fillets of them. Went to, what was it called? The King's Cross, and that's like the entrance of like where the Harry Potter like shit was shot there too.
What, like platform 4 3/4 or some shit?
9 3/4, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that's where that was shot. I really liked it over there. It was in London. Apparently, it's supposed to be like raining and cloudy all the time, and the whole week we were there in the UK, it was just like sunny and like in the 60s. And I was prepared for like rainy days. I kind of wanted to go there just for that, but brought the fucking sun with me, and the tube was a nice experience through all the public transportation, being on like the double-decker buses and all that.
Those are cool.
Yeah, and then going basically to like downtown LA to like get some fucking some food. I think it's called like Brick Lane or something. It's just like all graffitied up and multicultural there, and
Awesome.
yeah. I got some bagel, some like Jewish owned bagel bakery,
Shalom.
and
Shlomo's Bagels?
it's open 24 hours, and it's like, oh, best bakery or best fucking bagels you can get in Europe or wherever. So I tried them. There's this place like fucking 10 minutes from my work that's like 100 times better than that. I don't know what was going on. I got like the lox sandwich, which is just like cream cheese, fucking salmon, and like capers. But yeah, this
Is that
one,
good?
Yeah, it's amazing.
The sandwich with the fish on it?
Yeah, you should definitely try it.
Yeah, I like disgusting, smelly fish on a sandwich. I'd eat that. With cream cheese?
Yeah,
A
try it.
schmear?
It is pretty good.
Yeah, I had it for the first time in Arizona. They just had like a quick little like takeaway breakfast thing, and I saw that there, and I was like, let me try that, and now I'm hooked on those. So I prefer that than to like a fucking egg bagel or something.
Fuck yeah.
But then went to Edinburgh and went to the Royal Mile over there and got to see like the David Hume statues and the gravesite where he was buried, and tried this place called Oink, and it just had like
I like that name.
Yep.
yeah, that
Oink,
was
oink.
that was really good. It was
Oink,
like
oink, my good man.
Scottish hog roasts, and tried like haggis, which is like fucking I think it's
Sheep stomach.
sheep
Yep.
heart and stomach and lungs and shit. That
Yeah,
was
is-
really good. That was like phenomenal. That was probably the best food I had.
Scarf in the innards.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I had that with
How
like
come they don't serve that over here? I want some different stuff to eat rather than just like chicken, beef. What? That's all we have over here. How about some fucking haggis?
Do you really think there's a market for it here?
yeah. I think it's illegal over here.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
I'm a paralegal. I just killed a beagle.
Let's see, haggis in the U.S.
Why would it be illegal?
Yeah, banned.
Why? Because the U.S.
there's
gay AF.
regulations on the use of livestock lungs in food.
Give me
Come
a
on.
break. Get a life, U.S.
Get a life, us.
Yeah, get a life, us.
And I tried their pop over there, their equivalent of like Coca-Cola Iron Brew. That shit is so good. It just tasted like Hubba Bubba or something. And let's see what else was over there. Tried the beans on toast. That was funny. I saw Phantom of the Opera musical
Thought you
over
were gonna
there.
say I saw Family Guy.
No, thank God I had a little break from that. Oh, I saw like the first what's that called? The first clone sheep in some
Right.
museum too.
Hmm.
And saw the dog with the nose. That was like the Futurama story.
Jurassic Bark, I think was the name of the episode.
Yeah, just waiting forever. Then went to the Edinburgh Castle. That was really cool. They did this thing at like 1 o'clock where they basically shoot this cannon blank off so the ships on the sea can know about what time it is. And
I think they have clocks.
tradition, not I guess not. And then saw like the
They ban clocks on ships for this reason.
saw like the prison over there. What else? Oh, I went on a like a haunted tour of like the underground tunnels in Edinburgh. That
Did the
was
ghost touch you this time?
no, nothing like that. The guy was really funny though. He's like wearing this trench coat. He had like long hair, ponytail, and then he's like, there's
Badass.
this one point where he's like singing really soft, and then he turns off the light, and then he, cause I guess he's like telling a story, and he's like, oh, it's like there's nothing really to do down here. People would just like entertain themselves with like, like black market type shit, and then the kids would try to be going to sleep to like lullabies, and he was like singing like a mom would to a kid, and then he just like turned the
Awesome.
lights off, and then just like scared this one guy. He found his ass. She was funny. What else? Oh, I went on a Johnny Walker whiskey tour. That was really cool. It was sort of like a fucking Disneyland type experience where they had like this whole lights and movies and actors going on about it, and then we finally get to try the drinks, and basically just saying how they came to be, and no wrong way to drink whiskey, I guess.
Did you
And,
get drunk?
no, I wish I had like 3 drinks, and they were mixed. So I had like 2 highballs and then one just on the rocks. But I felt a little buzz there. And then we went to Dune Castle, which is where Monty Python was filmed.
Mm.
And
The Knights of the Round Table scene.
yeah, exactly, where they're
The
like all
Knights of the Round
dancing and shit.
Table. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that and like when the French are like, throwing cows and shit.
Right.
Yeah,
Fetch la vache.
yeah, it was. We got to go inside there, and I guess that's where they filmed. What's that show? Outlander. Yeah, it's like a historical fictional show. And then they filmed the pilot of Game of Thrones there too. But yeah, we got to go inside and see that they have like just holes against the walls where they could just like shit down the castle and
Oh yeah.
all these different rooms, and it was pretty tiny considering how big people were over there. And I was on the way over to the Highlands where we saw like the cows with bangs and horns and shit. And then went on like a tiny hike and went to one of the what do they call them? Locks over there. Not nests though. Loch Lomond. We went over there, and then every night we were just going out and drinking. I was just trying out all the beer over there. I think my favorite's probably Tennant's. That was
You didn't barf from drinking all the beer?
No, for some reason, I'm just drinking all this beer. I'm not bloated not bloated like I usually get over here.
You're in America.
Yeah, and
in America we bloat.
yeah, it's I don't know. There's something that they're not adding over there that's just a little bit I guess easier to digest. So that was cool. But my I think second day in London, I ended up going to some record shop. I didn't really have any high hopes for anything, but I saw that this one in particular sold CDs, and I come across the 3 little like rows of metal CDs that they have there. I found the Lust Anal split for $2, so that was a good find, or £2, and then
Did they
That's
take
like 40
American money, or did you have to?
It's like
exchange
$43.
no, it's like I think
It's like $4.
$3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like kind of doubled almost.
Yeah. No, I had to do the currency exchange at the airport when I got there.
Cool.
But I also had just like a card I can use, because if I were using my like debit card, I would have got charged 3% on each transaction, because
International.
a lot of places are like cash free, which kind of sucked. But I had this Fidelity card that I could just use wherever, and I basically saved I think it was close to 100 on just transaction fees for using that card.
Thumbs up all around.
Yeah. And then I come across the second album from Raven Throne for £2 as well.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let's see what this, what we have in store here. A Divine Rapture. It was just saying 1999 death metal. It's decent, nothing crazy. Got that for £5, but it looked cool to me.
Have you listened to the Raven Throne yet?
No, I haven't listened to the second CD yet. Because I ended
Get
up
to it, bub.
going to Amoeba when I got back here, and it's always hit and miss there whenever I go. But this time they happen to have a lot of shit. It seemed like someone sold their collection or something, because
Nice.
got Abyssic Hate, The Suicidal Emotions, Naxul, Totem,
Oh, that's a great album.
Belanos, compilation, Ancient Temps.
The French. Oh yeah, I did see that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Twisted Tower Dire, The Curse of the Twisted Tower reissue with 2 demos. So it has the one with the girl on it.
Triumphing True Metal.
Yeah, and then what was it called? Dancing Through the Palace of the, what was it called? Ungodly Beauty by
The Liar of Golgotha?
yeah.
Yeah, I was jealous of that one.
That was that was a good find. That one I had to pay a little bit more than I would like, but it was worth it. that one was 20. The rest were like 10. But yeah, good finds, and I got a couple other ones coming in the mail soon. So I just got some off of Aurelian Boy, too, Unleashed Max Age.
Oh yeah, you bought some of his stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, some cool things listed. Cool things listed.
Yeah.
I wonder who's gonna get that documentary. Hopefully Mac.
Big Mac.
Yeah, but yeah, that was the trip. The plane ride was I think it was 9 hours, 14 hours on the way there.
Epic.
Um, I just watched some shit on the way. I think I watched like Paris, Texas, and really put in perspective how fast I was moving versus
They
this guy
had,
walking.
Yeah, they had that on the plane, like the
No,
plane movie?
I had some shit downloaded.
Oh, okay.
I was like, let me watch that. But yeah, not a bad flight. If I could do that, I feel like I can. These little flights are nothing now. I just got to go on a big one like Australia, where it's like 19 hours or something.
Huh.
But yeah, fun trip. And I got the travel bug, so probably next year I'll go somewhere else.
I remember when we went to Florida on the way back home. I think it was only like what? It was way longer than 5 hours. For whatever reason, they had us sitting and waiting in the plane for like 2 hours. Remember that?
Yeah.
During that trip, I must have got up to piss like 20 times.
on the plane.
Yeah, I was just drinking so much water, and the cool thing about it was like I was right on the edge, so I can just get up.
Oh yeah, I think me and Raph were boxed in the middle rows. We're like seat fucking E and F, where you needed to be D and H or G. But yeah, it was
Something to kill time. Take a piss. Stretch your legs.
yeah. Fred, weren't you out in London for a minute? Fred?
Where's Fred?
You muted, Fred?
I don't know. Fred, he asked you a question.
Typical. This is why we took a break.
Typical.
But yeah,
Is the power out in your house, or just the internet went out?
we're
No, like everything went out for like a split second. Everything's back now, but the internet isn't back yet.
fans. We're back. Freddie had a little power outage,
Yeah, that was wild.
but they can't stop the BBR from coming back. This is our second rising, so our second
The
coming.
second coming.
Hearing a little bit of buzzing.
Is
There
it
you
for
go.
me?
I don't know. It's slowly going away. Yeah, I forget what we were talking about last.
Oh, I asked Fred. I was like, "Didn't you stay in London?"
I lived in England for 2 years.
Whereabouts?
Maidenhead, which
know
if
where I was
memory
at.
no, if memory serves, that's about an hour west of London.
Yeah, that was that city is just so huge. I couldn't imagine anything further out.
Yeah, and it's weird too, right? Because there's no rhyme or reason to the roads in London. It's just like a complete like mess of twisting, turning roads.
Yeah, and then the whole underground too, being like even. Well, I guess that's a little bit makes more sense. Just straight ways. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say we flew into like Heathrow, and then our hotel we were staying at was like an hour drive, just going through all these like roads, and yeah, it was pretty Like that was worse than the plane ride, just driving around there.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I remember London like is just completely confusing to anyone who doesn't live there. I remember reading about the taxi drivers in London that have like the roads memorized, and they call that just knowing the layout of the city. They called it the know because they just knew what it looked like without needing a map because it's an absolute mess. Like, you know, if you're like a city like Toronto, for me, like it's everything is like basically east-west, right? It's like hard to get lost in there.
Yeah.
But London's a different story, man.
Hey Fred, do you have your phone next to the mic?
Yeah, he's using his phone.
There you go.
Here, I'm moving it further away. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Huh, weird. I didn't hear anything.
It was almost poltergeist.
Oh, creepy.
But yeah, before we lose you again, we should get into our Dan's big pick.
Yeah.
All
Tell us
right.
what we're here for, because it's a great fucking pick.
Well, I had a couple more things on my list, and then I also had a latecomer to the questions that were supposed to
Oh,
be
yeah.
on episode
Go for it.
100.
Oh, all right.
All right, I'll quickly go through this list, and then I'll get to that. Let's see. Oh, okay. On some episodes back, I talked about I hated what's his name, the Music of Destruction. I love that guy now. New metal YouTuber to hate, Metal Meltdown. Check that guy out. He goes, "Hello, metalheads of the internet," and then he goes, "Hello, guys, gals, non-binary pals." Check him out. You'll hate him. Oh, here's another short little topic. I guess this topic is called like liking stuff better than stuff you should like better. Which is that's that.
We'll come
Okay.
up with a better title.
Better.
What the hell?
An example of this. Okay, I checked out the third Incantation album because I've never heard it, and I wasn't loving it. And then after that, I checked
Whoa.
out the band Ungod, their '96 release, and I liked Ungod better. And I think you're supposed to like the third Incantation album better than something like Ungod, right? But I like the opposite.
The 96 release, is that Conquering What Once Was Ours?
I'm not sure. I wrote this stuff down a long time ago. I wrote down stuff so I remember. It is the Conquering, yeah, What Once Was, or whatever.
So that actually is a fucking great E EP.
It is. I really liked it. I wasn't digging the third Incantation that much. Am I wrong to not dig that shit?
I mean, yes.
Okay.
No, I mean, like, it's all subjective, right? I mean,
Right.
for what it's worth, Incantation's one of my favorite bands, and I don't go back to that album super often, the third one. Which I guess means I don't like it that much either. Well, no, I mean, I like it a lot. It's a good album, but when I
like
want
it a lot.
Incantation, it's not the one I usually grab for. I usually go for the first two, or Blasphemy. Infernal Storm's really good. Vanquish and Vengeance was solid too. So it's, I don't know.
Here I came up
That
with
Ungod EP is really wild though. Like it's something else.
Came up with a better turn of phrase. Underrated, overrated.
I came up with a better one, better than that. It's called Fred's Right. Another example of this. I liked the old death metal band Disinter. Their '97 album Desecrated, the U.S. Disinter. I liked that album, which is supposed to be like, no big deal. I like that better than the new Pissgrave. I really didn't care for the new Pissgrave. I've
still
been
haven't heard
seeing
it.
people
Yeah, I
love
haven't
that
checked
thing,
it
but
out.
the new one is, I don't know, man. Didn't really think much of it.
I've never been a huge Pissgrave fan to begin with. Like I have the first album, and it's enjoyable. I didn't feel the need to pick up the second album, and I don't think I feel the need to pick up the third either.
Yeah, I think I liked it when it came out, but I haven't kept up with them.
I'm more interested in the new Caustic Wound. That first album was awesome.
I've never really checked them out much. I think the name made me, maybe the way the logo looks. It looks like some kind of hardcore thing that I wouldn't like. But
Oh yeah, no, it's like straight up old school death grind,
okay. Oh,
like
okay.
terrorizer, defecation, repulsion, that sort of shit.
Okay. Yeah, I know who they are. I've just never really given them much of a chance. So, okay, Caustic Wound. That's going in the liked video, so we're gonna have to check that out. And then
Yeah.
last example of this, I came across a movie with Gene Wilder called World's Greatest Lover, and I got bored of it, and I didn't really care for it much. And when I turned that off, I turned on the old Nickelodeon show, Are You Afraid of the Dark, where the kids are telling scary stories. around
Oh
the campfire.
yeah,
And I like that better than World's Greatest Lover. So
that is
You know.
great.
yeah, see, I like that better. Oh, we can call the segment. I like this better, but I probably shouldn't.
But I do.
But I do. Yeah.
But I do.
Okay. I got one for that.
What's that?
So I'm reading this manga called Kaiji. I liked it better than what was or what got inspired by that Squid Games. So I like this one a lot better. This story it's from '98 versus 2021.
I think that's fair, though. I think you're supposed to like the classic better than some modern remake. Although the season 1 of Squid Game was, I liked it. I did
Yeah, it
actually
was
like
good, but it's. I'm not putting it down, but this is better, and I could see why, because that's where pretty much they got this whole premise from.
What do you think of the second season?
Haven't seen
It
it.
didn't keep up. Oh, and White Lotus, we finished it, and it was underwhelming.
Yes, it was underwhelming. The first 2 episodes were kind of promising, and I enjoyed them. And then the show kind of just got worse and worse until there was a didn't go out with a bang. It went out with a small fizzle.
Yeah, it was like, oh, okay, here's the thing that happened at the first episode from a different perspective, and that's it.
That's
I don't know.
unfortunate.
It was just a lot of like unneeded like suspense and tension. Like there was no real resolve in it.
Yeah.
It was yeah.
Spoiler alert. There's parts in that show where like the dad is fantasizing about murdering
yeah,
his
that's the
family,
best part,
and
probably.
that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was probably the
Something
best
very
part.
funny about that.
I don't think it was supposed to be either, but
No, it wasn't supposed to be funny. It was supposed to be shocking. It's funny to me.
yeah, it was hilarious.
Also in my notes, I wrote down something stupid that happened to me at the park. So I'm walking, and there's a group of kids on the grass next to the sidewalk, and one of the kids tells me, he says, "Hey, can you tell him to stop pulling the grass?" So there's a kid pulling the grass out and like throwing it on the sidewalk.
What
And
an
I had to
asshole.
repeat myself. I said, "What?" He goes, "Could you tell him to stop picking the grass?" And I walked by, and then I had my sunglasses on, so I looked like some old guy. And I turned around, and I pointed my finger. I said, "Knock it off." And they all looked at me like they like kind of got shocked when I said that.
Were you with Dean at least?
Yeah, I was with Dean.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason I would go to the fucking park
Yeah.
with fucking Dean.
That's
Knock
what
it off.
Well, did they stop?
I don't know. I just kept walking. I'm not gonna stick around to find out.
they're like planting the grass back in.
Yeah,
Kids
put
are
the
just-
grass back in.
Kids are like, what the hell?
Well, the one kid told me to tell the other kid to stop doing that. And so I said, knock it off. And I wrote that down. Something else on my list. Okay, decent newer movie starring, what's her name? Dakota Fanning's sister. Movie's called Neon Demon. It's decent. Check it out. Neon Demon. Also on my notes here, I wrote Phil Tugas Greek album. That's the guy from that Theist band and Zealatry, and you guys have probably come across him before. Phil Tugas.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a new project that came out, and I saw somebody post. They're like, "This is the album of the year." It's like, try to beat this, and I listened to most of it. I didn't get through the whole thing, and it's like Greek influenced. I will say it riffs. The album does riff, and it's good. It is very good. My only gripe with it is it's not exact. Well, it kind of is doing something new. I think my only gripe with it is like I probably wouldn't come back to it. It's a good album that I I don't think it has replayability value to it. That's my only gripe. Yeah, you guys can be the judge. All you listeners,
Well,
you can be the judge on the new Phil Tugis Greek sounding project, whatever.
I feel like you're really saying that it's not that good then.
No, it is. It's real. Like it riffs and it's good, but for whatever reason, I can't imagine myself coming back to it ever again.
Like, you
Well,
feel
wouldn't
like
that
you
be,
got
like, a
everything in the
critical
first
part?
pass?
I feel like I got everything I needed to know out of that one listen that I didn't even finish it.
No
So
iceberg there.
however
What
you
was-
take that.
What was the band called again?
Shit, I don't know.
Oh, all right.
Let me find out. Because it's some fucking
Yeah,
name that
you
I
sent it.
can't pronounce. I did send it. Zeolatry. How the fuck do I even spell this guy? Tugas.
Oh, it's actually Zealotry. Okay.
That's not the name of the band, is it?
Isn't it?
No. It's hold on, let me find this guy.
Wait, he's in Worm. What the hell?
He's in
Zacridius?
First Fragment and Funeral. Oh yeah, I guess he is in Worm. Oh, it's the last one, Zecridius. Yeah, that shit.
The Grande Heresy.
Well, if you look at
Oh,
the
this one.
fucking-
Right.
Yeah, if you look at the album review, somebody wrote a review and it says all fascist pigs must rot. And I think I've heard stuff about Phil Tugis that's like off-putting to some black metal people, where it's like, oh, this guy's a giant fucking leftoid, fuck him. But this fucking album, it does riff. Not rips, but riffs. So it's worth a check out. See what you think. This might be on your album of the year list. Hey, it might be. It might be the album of the year, just because I don't know what else is really competing with it. But it's check it out. Just check it out. That's all. Just check it out. I think. Oh, okay. I guess that's the last on my. One last thing here. Cool Canterbury song that I've been obsessed with. Robert Wyatt, the Sea Song. That shit's cool. It's a dude from Soft Machine. If there's anybody out there who's interested in like English prog rock from the 70s.
Okay.
And I think that's it for that. And now I have a questionnaire that was supposed to be on episode 100, but I guess this guy did. I only received it after that episode was already out. So this is from that same guy who sent that big long essay about stenchcore and crust punk and stuff like that. The gore smoker from Australia. He writes, "Congrats, boys! 100 episodes of outstanding content. Up there with the Terminuses, the RFIs, the Dreams of Consciousnesses, and the J-Dogs. For my essential North American metal listening." Yeah, so he I don't know who Dreams of Consciousness is. I know who J-Dog is. So, and RFI, yeah, he's naming the good ones. Radical Research too, they're good if you haven't heard them. Gore Smoker. So he writes, "I have some questions for your Q&A. They're personal questions meant to get to know all you a bit better." He says, "First,
Why would you
Dan."
want to do that?
He says, I don't know. He says, "First, Dan, the raconteur, consistent burps, always reassuring. How many IPAs do you allocate for your own consumption per episode? Asking as a winemaker and excessive drinker. P.S. Ghosts of the Civil Dead starring Nick Cage is the most extreme Australian film ever. Heaps recommended if you've never seen it." Well, he didn't really ask me. Oh, yeah, he did ask me a question. He asked, how many beers do I consume? I've been cutting down on the drinking a bit. Burping, I don't know if I've burped this episode yet. Hopefully I can do some burping, because that always happens anyways. I guess on a regular episode, I don't really usually finish the 6-pack while recording, for the most part. I would say about 5 Sculpin IPAs I would drink. Six on a long episode, but yeah, 6 of those mess you up. And no, I haven't seen that movie. I'll check it out. Okay, and then Poser Paul, love the one-liners, always gold. Who taught you to play the drums? Was it a high school music teacher, or are you self-taught? Also, I'm just getting into underground screamo emo violence thanks to your discussions about the subgenre. So thanks. I found some sick stuff such as this. He sends a link. I forgot what it was, but we'll get to that at some point.
Self-taught. Friend Anthony had the drums over at Dan's place, and Anthony wasn't there, so I hopped on. And that was it.
Right. Okay, Sigma Fred, the true collector demon. Is your missus into extreme metal? What is the long-term plan to help your kid with your religion? Will you low-key influence her taste in music, or let her profligate her way through the Wiggles first?
She's actually already like come and gone through the Wiggles phase. But
Fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
yeah, it is good. The version with the Sesame Street guys, pretty good. I enjoy it. As for the wife, no, she's not into metal in any way, shape, or form. That said, she probably knows more about black and death metal than most of the people who listen to the genre. Because she's just learned by osmosis of being around me. It will be in the car. She's like, "Can we not listen to Burzum?" I'm like, "Recognize Burzum." All right. But as for my kid, I'm gonna let her listen to whatever she wants. If she's interested in what I listen to, great. If not, I don't care.
She's gonna listen to whatever the hell she wants. Hey.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like,
Just keep her away from the goat stuff.
no, I mean, like, what I have had to do is just like curate the shirts that I'm wearing. Like actually, like, she's 3, right? The
Nothing
shirts
too
like
scary.
yeah, like I have a scaphism shirt where like a guy's head is exploding.
Oh,
not
God.
wearing that one. Not wearing
That's
that one.
a no-no, Fred.
But
Sigma Fred.
I have that Vasilith shirt with the cover to Crypt Bound and Tethered to Ruin, like that skeleton like in those webs, and I thought this was pretty good, like improvising, but it's like a red shirt with that design in red, and she's like, "What's that on your shirt?" I'm like, "Spider-Man." I'm like, "Oh, damn, that was good." But yeah, no. Long story short, wife, no, does not listen to metal in any way, shape, or form. And my kid, she has asked me to, well, like when I switched the, I'm listening.
Asperger's.
She has been exposed to metal, and she doesn't seem to mind it right now. And when I turn the car on and it's still playing metal, I usually switch it to the radio. Every so often, she asks me to go back to the metal, in which case I'll be like, all right, whatever. But I usually just switch.
Destroy the metal.
Yeah.
We turn it back on.
I usually flip it to the radio to put something more palatable on, and what she winds up listening to,
And then Fred brings out the headphones. Can't hear her. Can't hear the music.
Oh, actually, no, you know what? If she starts listening to metal, she's going to touch my stuff. That's not good. So maybe we'll actively discourage that.
Gonna sell your collection.
Can I listen to your Moonblood LP? Here, take the bootleg.
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
I can do that. Send you a link.
So you gotta sit in here with me, supervised, and no, you can't flip it.
There you go.
And this guy has a question for Hope. Well, she's not a permanent on the show, but she's been here. He says, Hope, always nice hear you cooking with the boys. What's cooking in the kitchen? He says, in pagan times, you might have been a high priestess of Isis. I hear it gets 40 below. Is that funny, Paul? My lady. Ladies. Okay, it says the temperature feels so extremely abstract to me in South Australia, but it explains why Canadian war metal rules so hard. I would never leave my bunker either. Does it get hellishly cold in Vancouver? How do you all cope with this? Anyways, my dudes, again, thanks, Gore Smoker. And
I can answer
I
on behalf of Hope, and I'll do my best Hope impression. She has a
okay,
really
do it.
high pitched voice, right? So I'm going to do that. Yeah, it gets pretty cold in Vancouver. And yeah, war metal's good.
Yeah.
She's going to listen to this and be like, "What the fuck, Fred?"
Well, that sounded like Levi laughing. Okay. No, I got an answer from Hope. It says, "Hi, Gore Smoker. If I was a high priestess of ISIS, it would certainly explain the flair for dramatic winters. Vancouver actually has very mild winters in comparison to the rest of Canuckistan. Far more eternal drizzle than grim and frostbitten. The Pacific Northwest rain can get depressing, but it does often make for perfect black metal ambiance. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Cheers." And then she asked me, "How was that?" And I replied, "Awesome." Awesome, High Priestess. Okay.
Way to go.
Yeah, thanks, Gore Smoker. Thanks for the questions. And,
Shoot,
I
shoot
told
us.
you,
Yeah, shoot us a link to your wine. I would like to try it.
shoot us a link to your site, and we'll buy it for all the BBR listeners and send them out. I'll pay for it.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we'll do
it
it
will
then.
go out with the CDs, just a little shot of the wine.
A little shot, yeah, like in a little bag. If I can send Fred and Hope clams through the mail, then I can send wine.
You did send us clams.
Yeah, I did.
Pretty tasty too.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Last thing, or not last thing, but Burzum GameCube commented on our episode 99 where we covered 2. He says, "Damn, it's only been a month and the JD Vance memes already dated this one." I still see people sending that shit.
Yeah,
to be
that
quite
just
honest.
yesterday.
Yeah, just yesterday. More. It's like more JD Vance memes. I can't get enough.
Actually, yeah, I hadn't seen them in a while either, and then I saw one yesterday too. Weird.
Oh, and then okay, so here's the last thing. I got a little obsessed with another one of the Whack Pack members from the Stern Show. One who I've never really delved into at all. A woman with Asperger's. Her name was, I forget what her real name was, like Suzanne McDowney or something. But her alias was the Underdog Lady, and what her thing was is she dressed like Underdog, the '60s cartoon character, and she did interpretive dance as Underdog. And what she was trying, her goal is to make Underdog a more serious and classy figure because she thought the cartoon was too childish. Does that sound autistic?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I like her. She's hilarious.
Share a birthday with her.
With Underdog Lady.
Yes. I'm on her wiki.
Yeah. Everyone look up the Underdog Lady Howard Stern first appearance where Stuttering John asks her if Underdog farts and she gets mad. She goes, that's she's like, "That's a disrespectful question." And he goes, "Do you fart?" And she like hits him. She like kind of shoves him. She goes, "Enough." Yeah, I think that's all for the notes. All right, we'll have to get into the episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to take another 5, or do we want to just roll right into it?
Let's go while we're hot.
Yep.
Okie dokie. All right. Well, today we have Japanese death metal, death grind, I guess, a band called Multiplex with their album World. I've known about this one for not too long. I'm not exactly sure when I discovered this band, but the first thing I heard from them was their demo, their first one, which is more or less like regular death metal, I guess. What you would sort of expect from that era. When does that come out? 91?
Yep.
Yeah. And at some point I bought the reissue from Extreme Music, and the first time that I listened to the CD, I was with Drew, and we were going to Damien's for the very first time, and I hadn't met him yet. And I remember Drew's comment as I put on World. It was like 3 songs in. He goes, "Daniel, I don't know what the fuck is going on this fucking song, dude. It's fucking good, dude." I guess he was lost. All the changes were too much to understand, incomprehensible, I guess.
I can't deal with it.
But it's weird. I would say this is a pretty different and unique type of death grind album, or just death metal in general, whatever. But at the same time, I feel like it kind of isn't. Like there was a handful of bands that were sort of doing this like techie, stop starting thrash, like taking all these elements of stuff that existed before and like of the time, and trying to push it as far as they could into the future, or into just something really, really extreme in one way or another, whether that be like technicality or speed or whatever. So in one sense, I feel like it kind of fits exactly where it is for 92. But in another way, I feel like most of these riffs, just about all of them, are very uniquely multiplex. I haven't really heard any. They're none of the. They've made all these death metal riffs and like grinding riffs sort of their own. And I know I kind of say that about a lot of bands, but here it's a little bit more. Maybe it's not that apparent, just because I feel like the production is kind of typical for this time in death metal too. But it's relatively technical, and it's relatively like confusing. You look at the song titles, you read some of these lyrics. It's not exactly. It's more stuff that's kind of up to interpretation. And I don't know any other bands you would really compare them to. I've seen people compare them to Disharmonic Orchestra, which I also did at a point, just because it's a very mechanical type of thing, and Disharmonic Orchestra actually felt kind of mechanical too. But then I've seen other people say like, "Oh, it's influenced by Godflesh and Fear Factory," and at that point, I mean, because those bands are really kind of samey in a different kind of way, but this kind of moves all over the place, and
I
it does
mean,
sound quite industrial.
Fear Factory's first album came out in '92 as well, so I doubt
Yeah.
that they were.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few demos from before that, but I don't know how much that actually was influential to them.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, like the vocalist was the guy who was, and I think still is, in Necrophile, right? So he was in the extreme metal scene pretty early on in Japan, like probably like what, '87 is when Necrophile started. So like I think like he was just doing what he does. I mean, for me, I've known Multiplex for quite a while, to the point that I was excited when the reissue was announced, and that came out in what, 2014 was it? The Extreme reissue, 2012. There we go. So yeah, I probably found them like the late 2000s, and it, to me, it's fairly unique. It does have this weird, futuristic, almost like cyberpunk kind of feel to it.
It feels very desolate. It almost feels like the album cover. It's music that comes from a world where like there's very few people left. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know if you've seen Blade Runner 2049, the second movie, but like they're in that densely populated city, right? And then they leave the city to go to these more remote places, and there's just nothing. It's just desolate, and like the orange sandy fog that's just like floating around. Kind of reminds me of those areas where it's kind of like there's still like those big dystopian cities, but this is like outside of those where there's just nothing. But the sound on this is just what I like in terms of tone and guitar. sound for death metal. The vocals are what I like too. The nice and generally deep without being too varied. Because I think when it gets, I like to keep it low, like they tend to do here. And a lot of the tracks have these just weird, usually intros, but that just have this weird mechanical industrial vibe to it before kicking into the grinding death metal of what the track actually generally is, and that really sets a cool vibe for the album that I really enjoy. So, yeah, this is an album that ranks pretty high for me, near the top for Japanese death metal for me. And you know what? I've never really thought of it in context of whether I would place it in my top death metal albums. But thinking about it, I might have to work it in there. I really like this album a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of in a weird place where it's pretty impressive, and it is pretty like remarkable just as an artistic statement, I guess. But at the same time, it's like there are other bands that you can listen to that are pretty similar, but not like, I feel like if you hear Multiplex, you really won't confuse them with anybody else. I think they have at least that going for them.
Do you ever get this thing where you have bands that you really like that you think are like in your top death metal or black metal or whatever tiers, and then you forget about them, and then when you find them again, you're like, oh my god, that's right, that's why I love this album so much. But like in between, there's like someone asks you, well, what are your favorite death metal albums, and then you're like, oh, you never mention it.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of my picks on this show. Well, for about half of them. Half of them are ones I don't shut up about. The other half are ones that, like, exactly that I have to remember and go, oh yeah, this is it's pretty good. Yeah, I would say this thing. Or go ahead, Fred.
No, I was gonna say, like, that's the thing. Like, when someone asks me for my favorite, again, like, let's say death metal albums, I'll always default to Incantation, Demilich, Vital Remains, Miasma. But then, like, when I think about it, the first Womb Bath gets really high up there. Dominus, Gorelust, and I always forget that how much I love those albums. So it's I think Multiplex is one of those, and I'm actually gonna write it down on my list right now because this needs to be documented. It's a revelation.
I would say this album kind of mixes certain things from, like, different genres that were going on at the time. I would say Finnish death metal is probably not in that list because it really doesn't do anything that's kind of a slow, steady groove like Bolt Thrower or something. It's almost the opposite of stuff like that. I guess would compare Multiplex to, like, something like Malevolent Creation or Nocturnal or Monstrosity. And then maybe a little bit of Swedish stuff here and there, like Filthy Christians and, well, even shit like Napalm Death in points where they kind of do that. What the fuck's the name of that one album? The one with If the Truth Be Known. It kind of has that grindcore vibe going on, like that specific type of grindcore vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like Jumpin' Jesus or something, where that's supposed to be this, like, extreme changing, waste no time death metal. Or even like your pick that you did with Sadism. It's sort of like that.
Yeah. But the booklet to the reissue version that we both have, they mention being well, Tekaki anyways mentions being very influenced by the rehearsal of a band called Asphyxia that he attended, that inspired him quite a bit, and I think that might be the reason he's quoting that one, because it was probably the biggest influence on Multiplex. I don't know, which is weird because, like, he again was in Necrophile, who are massively influential for the Japanese scene, right? So
I didn't know that they were that big. I had only heard that I believe it's their second demo, the one with, like, the snake lady on it.
yeah,
Yeah, Beyond the Truth. That's all I ever heard from it. I assumed it was just some kind of underground anomaly that no one else ever heard.
Oh yeah, no. Necrophile are pretty. Like I mean, if it tells you anything, uh, Dark Descent compiled all of their stuff and released it, so that's fairly big, right?
Yeah.
But the Dissociated Modernity EP was crazy good, and that split with a borer.
Somebody's laundry's ready.
It's actually my dishwasher.
Oh,
Thought the fucking Insidious Dark Place was about to turn over.
my dryer makes that noise when it's done. That same little song.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the Necrophile, fucking great.
I was gonna bring up something, or maybe I was just gonna ask Paul how he thought. Oh. I think the one thing I was gonna bring up
Fuck
before
me,
I let
right?
Paul go on a spiel. I know.
Just kidding.
Fuck you. I know all about it.
Freddy the Phone.
It really does seem like this kind of maximalist death metal from like the early 90s. Like it kind of took form and went into stuff like Decapitated and fucking Nile and Necrophagus and stuff like that. It kind of didn't continue on with this sort of like I don't even know how you would put it, like actual metal writing style rather than something that is like a contest of technical ability. There's like a different soul to this music. Say like Multiplex World versus fucking like the third or fourth, like the second or third Decapitated album. There's like a totally different thing going on. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I just feel like there was that evolution, and nowadays this style of getting to the really techie stuff is kind of like lost. Like people don't really write death metal like this anymore. Like the only old school death metal people are into now is like, you know, the incantation kind of stuff, and like even Autopsy, or like, you know, when it comes to Death Grind. But no, it doesn't seem like anybody's really trying to push a maximalist approach anymore. Everyone's like content with this like minimalist thing, and I would just be interested to see what would come out of newer bands trying to push themselves this far. I think maybe the one example I can think of is the band Cryptic Shift. I'm not a huge fan of them, but they do something similar.
You know, I have to stand corrected because I'm reading the liner notes to the reissue. He was impressed by Asphyxia, but then he joined Asphyxia, and then Asphyxia changed name to Multiplex. So there we go.
So he liked the band members.
Yeah, but also he calls out their influences, and yeah, Carcass, Godflesh, Fear Factory, and Terrorizer, and John Zorn were the main influences apparently. So I guess Fear Factory, even though they only had demos out at that point, did make it out that far and influence Multiplex. So there you have it.
Well, that's great to know. And what's cool about that is like it's pretty limited little list of influences there, and those are bands that a lot of people are probably influenced by. But Multiplex doesn't really sound like a lot of bands, so they kind of were able to take the grind and industrial death metal, like gore grind thing, kind of to their own Japanese conclusion that is also sort of jazzy and like improvisational and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we get a mic buzzing check?
Yeah, it's Freddy.
It's me.
Mm-hmm. I muted you for a second, and it went off, and then we're good right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Paul, you got anything you'd like to say about Multiplex's World?
Yeah, great album. When you first showed it to me, it was unique, and a lot of the bands that get compared to it, like you said, Disharmonic Orchestra, and my thinking is like Carbonize, but they don't do a lot of like they don't lean so left with it. They're always balancing in between that and like the actual roots of like grindcore, which makes me have a big comparison to Asuk for this. Like, I think this is probably the
Good one.
closest thing to it, like rhythmic wise and like as fast as it gets. Even just like the monotone vocals in the band, I think that's a really big comparison. Even though they had an album out like 1 year prior, a couple demos, and then wouldn't come out with their magnum opus until '97. But I think that is probably one of the bigger contemporaries that I can think of, and even with influences from Carbonize and Carcass and stuff like that, this harmonic orchestra, they don't like there's certain sections in the songs that kind of are like, oh, this is like a eccentric kind of band, but they don't really, I guess, want to be identified in that sort of way.
Yeah, they don't lean into the
Like,
look how weird we are.
yeah, like there's one
Yeah.
point where they do like a carbonized type vocals, like,
Yeah.
and then it just ends, and then they have the
But they don't ever do that again.
Yeah,
It's just like
exactly.
yeah.
and then yeah, they just have like really really great death grind sections that are unique to them. They aren't like, the only thing I can compare, like I said, was Asuk with that sort of thing, just the same rhythms and grinding sections. But like from bigger bands like Napalm Death and stuff, I don't really hear the resemblance, or at least they filtered it in their own way. And for sounding very industrial, and I think Asuk is a good comparison to that too, because
Yeah,
they
totally.
sound very, not grid like, but like they're being like smashing within gears or something.
Machine like, yeah. That's cool. Just because I was listening to Anti-Capital the other day, and I really didn't even put two and two together.
Yeah,
It is a good comparison. I think Multiplex is a little bit more. Uh, they like don't go as fast as Asuk. Like they have fast parts, but they're kind of sparse. Like there's not actually
yeah,
that much blasting on this.
yeah. And when they do it, it's like for just a short period of time, where Asu just like has full songs like that.
Yeah, and even to like look at the band picture of these guys, it's kind of interesting that the sounds that are coming out of a band that looks like that is
Rainbow shorts and
yeah.
hearts. They got the shoes though. They're good.
Grinders. I was thinking Carbonize for the security. It does remind me of the first Carbonize album a little bit,
Yeah,
because that one's almost the same too. It's like dystopian future, like mechanical kind of thing. That's why I sort of that's where that Droom fucking we're still on the subject of like weird grind from the 2 episode. We kind of continued off on there a little bit. But it's like, yeah, I did always put those bands like in the same weird industrial death grind bubble. That's just all the stuff is unique, but it all has that kind of they share that one thing, the sort of robotic atmosphere and like hopelessness, or not even hopelessness. It's almost like completely inhuman. Like there are no humans who
yeah.
made this. Hey, where'd this sound come from? Was it a robot?
I can imagine catasexual urge motivation being influenced by these guys.
Yeah. Especially with some of those more electronic sounds that they use to introduce some of the songs.
Yeah,
Like it feels like it flows naturally into the way Catasexual kind of had that cyber gore grind feel going.
yeah. I know they were really influenced by like Impetigo and Carcass and stuff, but I think with like the cyber aspects, it probably came from somewhere within industrial death metal.
Yeah.
What's cool about that, dude, Terrorizer as an influence is actually really interesting, just because I feel like Terrorizer was a huge band, but don't get me wrong, I don't feel like they've really they have a worship kind of thing going on with them where a lot of other bands do. Like who else does what Terrorizer did? It's totally kind of on its own.
I mean, I don't know. Like they were. When did Terrorizer come out with World
Maybe
Downfall?
91?
89.
Is it 89?
Mm-hmm.
That's really fucking early.
Because I kind of always thought Terrorizer, I kind of running with what Repulsion did, and like Defecation was pretty early too, right? They
Yeah, I think that was 89 too.
Yeah. So I mean, I like what Terrorizer did, but I don't think they were the only ones to do it. Early, sure, but not the only ones.
Yeah, but I think those other bands you're mentioning were a little bit more tied to actual like hardcore music, where the riffs were like really fast D beat things, like Napalm Death would do. Where Terrorizer kind of had something else going on. They were a lot groovier, like outside of the fast blasting moments. Like that's the part that I feel like doesn't get touched upon too much. The fast stuff, sure, but the groovier aspect of what Terrorizer did, you know, that's maybe the point that a lot of people are missing with them.
Yeah, possibly. But I mean, there was Nausea too, right? And they were really early as well. Like their album didn't come out till the 90s, I think, but those demos were fucking off the wall.
Yeah.
Like, never mind Majesty. I think Majesty went back to like what, 86, around there. They were a bit thrashier than grind, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So, what do you guys say we get into a track?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go for a track.
All right. Want to go with the first, what is it, 2 or 3 tracks? Just because I think it's all one unit. Or no, the first 2 tracks, right?
Yeah.
Instrumental.
I was
and
gonna
then
pick.
Empty Happiness.
I was gonna pick 3.
Okay. Oh, the next track going in?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. What do you say we just start from the beginning?
Yeah, that works for me. My
All
pick's
right.
gonna be one of the later songs, One in Billions of Dimensions.
Oh yeah, that one's just more straightforward. That's a good one.
It is, but it's so good. Well,
Yeah.
it's either that or literally track 2 or 3, because I just love the way that they open up. But
No, it's a good pick. Any one of these songs were good.
yeah,
All right,
yeah, there's no wrong answer.
we'll be back with Mike, Military Industrial Complex, and Empty Happiness. We'll be right back.
What the fuck?
Wait, are we playing track 3 at the same time, or
No, we're back.
We're back.
no?
Freddy, say it.
We back.
Say the thing. Say your tagline.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
All right, I'll say it.
That sucked.
Oh, you got it.
That was a pretty fairly decent grind song, I would say.
That's a pretty decent grind song.
Yeah, pretty decent grind song.
Yeah, that was
It was decent.
really, really bouncy and somehow mechanical at the same time.
And the mechanical stuff isn't just because there's sampling in it. I mean, the samples are like utilized really perfectly.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, you're saying like the bass sounds like a hydraulic press or like something's being squished or
yeah, it's
squeezed.
like.
And it's like even during the revenge
yeah,
kind
the
of open
squeal.
up part. There was something else I was thinking, or I think I mentioned it to you guys. What the hell did I say this is kind of sounds like? I don't remember.
Don't remember either.
Well, Fred kind of brought up a Hell Witch as sort of a... Well, that's why I brought up a Nocturnal earlier, is because they like... It's one of those... It's super maximalist. Even though, like, they're doing some retarded riffing kind of at the beginning, but they still have the tail end death metal thing, where it's like boom, down, boom, down, boom, down, boom, 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 boom. Like they just have to keep going with some of these riffs. It's almost like these riffs cannot be. They tried their damnedest to not make them normal. They like had to add something else on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the breaks that they would have, they would stop and then continue with like the kick, like tick, 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 counting right back into it. It was almost like a ticking time bomb to like the other releases of passages of riffs, and the way that the drums would just stop on a dime and start blasting and then go right into like a groove section that was like totally carbonized to me. And the vocals are just so great. There's like Fred said, there's not really a wide range to them at all, besides the weird little freak out that they had.
The robot voice,
Yeah.
where it's
And-
like, and then it kind of goes back.
Yeah.
I always love that part.
Yeah.
This song
it's
is
not
super,
overdone.
It draws you in, I think, and makes you want to listen to the whole thing. You're like, whoa, this is fucking badass, like really badass.
Yeah, it's definitely a great opener, especially with the fucking weird intro. I don't. It sounded like a soundtrack at the beginning, and then it was just
Yeah.
like going into like machinery, and then it goes right into like guitar chugs and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's
it
a bizarre
starts off
intro.
like super technical, like when the actual guitars come in and shit.
Yeah, it almost sounds like they're during that intro. It was like two sections playing the same thing, but one's a bit delayed. Like it had like a weird effect to it where it seemed like it was like looping, like you just heard the thing right before it happened again. But yeah, definitely a great opening track, and I think it doesn't hold anything back with the next one either. If you guys want to get into that one, or if you have anything else more to say.
I think that like the way that there was technical kind of like death thrash, I feel like this is right on the other side. It's like, oh, technical death grind, dude, why not? It's like that's what it probably has in common with Hell Witch and Nocturnal and maybe something even like Protected Illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are other techie grind bands, but they sort of all have this like modern sound, where this one is like probably because it is so old, it's like totally strictly rooted in not only in things that existed, but pushing to a way forward, which is interesting because it's like, well, this band actually got way less technical after this album. I think one of their guitar players left, and they sort of just played basic grind, it wasn't bad, like the stuff after this, but it wasn't nearly as it
Wasn't
just
the
turned into
world.
grind, huh?
So
No,
it
it wasn't
wasn't
the
the
world.
world.
No, it really was just like normal grindcore, where this is uh I don't know. I almost can't blame them. It's like if you make an album like this, where else can you really go with it? You know what I mean? I feel like they've taken it to its conclusion, and then hey, maybe they just like grindcore. In the same way that Axis of Advance, you know, they had their albums, and then they do Revenge at the same time, or like afterwards they do Revenge. It's like what else is really there to do besides an album with
Yeah,
Alan from Primordial?
mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see what else we can dig up
Yeah, the
for
next
this next
track,
track here.
like a Parhelion, and we'll be right back. back from the atmospheric optical phenomenon of bright spots,
Yeah, and
the
the sun.
parhelion.
I had to look that up too.
See, we're informed. We're not doing radical research, but
Informed-ish.
we're looking it up.
Man, that could have been a radio hit. If this band had a radio hit, it would be that one.
Yeah, that was probably the best opening riffs, where it had like just such a epic sound. It was like showing
Dude,
the soul of the machine.
It almost sounded like Alice in Chains. Brown, 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 brown. They were
Yeah,
doing
when you put
really
it that way, I
emotional
guess.
chords.
Yeah.
Yeah, total Asuk and total like Namacon. Those weird dun 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 with the drums still going.
Yeah, that's just so sick. And then I love all the grooves, like you mentioned, like Zizma towards the end there.
Yeah, Corpse.
And yeah, it was just it's so weird. It's almost like I don't know, like paradoxical of thinking of like a machine being like groovy or something, but it's definitely doing something. Like there's like bass lines that sound like cars like fucking chugging along, and you hear like the exhaust like shit like that.
It's surreal grind.
Yeah, it's
dream grind.
That's a good place to call it. Soulful industrial during the beginning.
Yeah. I totally forgot how good this song was. I listened to it this weekend, and I remember hearing the beginning part. I'm like, man, this is really fucking cool. And I'm glad you picked this one, because I was having trouble, like, if not the first one, which one would I want to pick? So I feel like if you don't like those first two, at least this track, like, you call yourself a metalhead? You don't like that track? Are you nuts?
What was it called? Like J-Dog was saying today on the Hideous Manglist puts Dragged into Sunlight on a Stretcher episode. He's like,
I'm sure it does.
He's like, what? There's no. He was like pretending to cry on there, and shit. It was so funny. He's all, oh man, he's all fucking hate the sun, man. Like that's not my my rainy day by the lake black metal.
Yeah, it's my crying by the lake black metal.
Yeah. Where Multiplex puts the world on a stretcher.
Multiplex puts the world on a stretcher. I forgot that I like when J-Dog fucking his like the people who send in reviews, they forget to add a link, and he's like, "Why don't you go ask Mama how to do it?" You send J-Dog. That's right, Billy. You send it to the email. Copy and paste.
Come on,
Copy
Bubbles.
and paste, Billy.
Come on, Bubbles.
Later, Bubbles.
Oh, he's like, oh, I haven't had he's all, damn, it's been 6 days, bro, no paid skis. Had to go back to that damn video for a question. I'm running out of material here. I didn't do a video yesterday.
Maybe I'll send this album to review for JFag. I mean J-Dog. That was just a joke.
J-Cat?
JK Dog.
But, Fred, what do you think of this track?
Again, back to that weird techno-ish beginning that just kind of sets the track off to... Yeah. Just sets the track off on this weird kind of futuristic
Yeah, it was like
techno
some
kind of vibe.
Run DMC shit.
You know it's gonna be
Yeah,
gangsta
right?
AF when you hear that shit.
But
You're gonna go, it's be yo homeboy. What if Dog said this is too homeboy? Because of that shit.
He's all these Japs wearing flat brims and...
These flat brim, look at those shorts, brah, unacceptable.
Yeah, we
These
got
Japs.
we got to send him the photo with it too.
Yeah. Say, here's a photo of the band from the land.
yeah.
No, but there was even like the fast chuggy parts where it ends with like weird chords. It's like bzz, bzz.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but like that chugging was great, but the whole song had like an ascendant vibe to it. It felt like it was spiraling upwards, which is a really cool kind of effect. And the whole combining that with the mechanical feel of it, even though like when they're actually playing the music, it does sound fairly organic, but it just
Totally.
it sets the whole thing off on that vibe, and you can't like kind of
Yeah.
you can't shake it as you go
I
along,
think
even though
Yeah. I think
It's,
that's
it's really
exactly
cool.
what those samples are for. Like, they're not overused, and they do weird things with the instruments. But like, yeah, the setup for it is, they're like, okay, this is the headspace you're supposed to be in.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
That is
No,
a
it's
really
really cool.
interesting. I mean, Godflesh has its moments where I wouldn't say they're like emotional or dreamy or anything like that. It's if it's anything, it's just like some hell nightmare. Where this kind of doesn't want to just do that. It also has a soul in a weird way.
Yeah, Soul of a New Machine.
Uh,
Fear Factory?
Ozzy?
Yeah. Fear Factory?
Freddie, you want to get into your
to my pick.
more run of the mill pick?
Yeah, I'm alright with
Yeah,
that.
we're burning through this one.
So my pick is track 7, One in Billions of Dimensions.
Good title.
Yeah,
All these have pretty good titles. Human Zoo, I like that one.
Yeah, Human Zoo is good.
Self-destructive flattery.
the Billions of Dimensions kind of just the title alone has a bit of a demi-lich, demigod kind of feel to it. So that one immediately drew me, and just happens to be a fantastic fucking song too.
Yeah, I would need just parentheses of like 2 of the other titles. One
Yeah.
in a billion of dimensions, forever casket lines in there among Human Zoo. Then it would be Demilich. But yeah, let's get into that track
Si-
then.
Since we're kind of blowing through this episode right now, can we now take a 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Okay,
we'll
cool,
be right back. back.
Woo!
In real time, that was a long break. But
Yeah.
in editing, we're right back. And
Forget about
In editing, it never happened.
yeah, what a great song. It starts off like really, you know, nothing really to it other than just fast death grind going on. Then the
There's some
fucking
crazy
solo kicks
stop
in.
go.
Hmm?
Some crazy stop go at the beginning though.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
But the
but it
yeah,
goes
that-
into like
when the-
complete madness though with the
yeah,
solo.
when the solo kicks in like halfway through and the layered vocals, like it sounds like multi-dimensional shit.
No, totally. I think that's where the like carbonized influence comes in heavy right there.
Yeah. Those vocals make me think of Cynic too, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
And then the riffing, it like Dan said during like the guitar break, I was like, "Oh, that's the poser crushing riff," and he's like, "Yeah, it just keeps on going." Like, and it's like this never ending riff that just keeps evolving and evolving, going on. It's like one of those like kind of tech breakdown thrash riffs.
mm-hmm.
It's building off of the first riff. The first riff is like
Yeah.
you know, like almost the Metallica. But yeah, so it builds off of that, but just goes longer. And instead of palm muted single notes, it's all chords there. It's the same kind of but it's that's a lot of notes.
Yeah.
See where where Zorn comes into play there. See, we can tell Weasel Walter that you know, he's not all bad. If it can help influence stuff like this.
Sorry, Weasel.
Man,
Sorry, Weasel.
what a great track though. Fuck.
This one does feel the most normal though. I mean that one riff in particular is weird, and the solo is weird. But besides that, I'd say this is a fairly normal 90s death metal song.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with that.
I don't know, like the stop go felt a bit more jarring than a lot of the death metal we'd hear in this at this time, right? Like,
Yeah, they were not sloppy at all with it.
no.
Did someone say machine like?
Oh. Fuck, what a great song though. I love this album.
Yeah, and they have like such weird vocal like patterns. I was like trying to read along to it, and it just like they just blew through like the full stanzas, and they're just like at the like fifth one for like ever.
Yeah.
I'm torn, disordered with no mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the layered vocal part where they're just you know, reciting the name of the song was really fucking sick. It was almost being like suspended rather than being like so grounded and grinding like the rest of the track was. It sounded like it was almost like a clean sort of distortion or no distortion during that, and like different effects going on, because you can hear the guitar notes a little bit more clearer during the solo, but they're still confusing.
On a side note, Multiplex is a cool band name for a band that sounds like this.
Yeah, cool band
Yeah.
name, cool album name,
Cool logo,
cool logo, cool album cover.
cool shorts,
Cool shorts.
Cool Japs.
cool Japs.
Cool album.
Yeah. I love how I do love how inconsistent the Japanese sound. I do think there was a lot of core influence in them, but like when you look at like between this and like Transgressor, Necrophile, Sabat, Void, like there's such a variety, and like start throwing in like Gabish and Guillotine Terror, Jurassic Jade. It's the Japanese scene was just so bizarre, and I love it for that.
Yeah, the Japanese legions, their range was very broad.
Hail to the Japanese legions.
Like there's even like Defile that's a little bit more like Vader s death metal, and then that band you mentioned earlier, the Death Doom one, Anatomia. I think they're a little bit maybe like a decade later than these guys, but
I mean,
yeah.
they are, but they're kind of a continuation of Transgressor, anyways, right?
Yeah. And I think it's sort of like well, I don't know. I was gonna say compare it to like Finland, where everything kind of sounds distinct and unique,
Ball thrower ish.
but also I think Japan is a little bit more like isolated with not having a regional sound. They just kind of have this weird twist on like whatever they um, you know, are experimenting with. So like with industrial death metal, this is what you get here.
Yeah.
Fred had mentioned their influences earlier, but I'm wondering, like, these guys must have been listening to stuff like Entombed, right? I mean, I hear a ton of Swedish D-beatish death metal.
I mean, if they were listening to the fucking Fear Factory demos, I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. If you're listening to the Fear Factory demo in like 90, 91, you probably yeah, you got the knowledge, you got the know-how.
Yeah, you have the hookups to get the Swedish shit.
Yeah, and I guess I'll say it's something that Jub says all the time. I think he first said it with Decolation. He goes, "Hey, new school retro death metal bands." He goes, instead of worshiping Carcass and or Carnage and fucking Incantation or whatever, it's like try Decolation or try Monstrosity. Hey, try Multiplex. Try to rip off Multiplex. See what happens.
Yeah, I think
See what
that's
happens.
I think that's a trope we do too. We're like, why don't any bands sound like this?
Yeah.
I'd listen to a band if they sounded like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the Terminus guys say too, if this came out now, it would be seen as the shit.
Yeah.
But the best we have is some guy doing Greek black metal for 2025.
I don't know if I've heard any death metal albums from 25 that have particularly
Do
thrilled
you
me
really
yet.
want to?
I mean,
Ever since Terminus turned over a new leaf, I haven't really been checking out new shit.
Me neither.
black metal's been doing well this year, but I can't think of a lot of death metal releases that have really tickled me.
Challenge to the listeners: post good new bands, and they better be good.
Or we'll go on break again.
Yeah, or we're going break again. Eternal break.
Fuck it, we're out.
But yeah, we'll be back to our normal schedule for a while until Fred starts acting up again. Then we'll have to break before, or bend before it breaks, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Should we
last words?
last words? Who's got a word? Who's got something profound to say? I know Fred does.
This is not profound, but just because we're mentioning 25 releases, the Mephitic Corpse album was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It was actually. It sounded like. How did I put it? Something about mortician. But yeah.
Yeah, I love Multiplex. Like, I
love Multiplex.
before I was able to find the album before they reissued it, I tracked down the two splits that they were on. The Grinding Syndicate split with Cacophonia, Anarchus, Gibbed, and then Death Power with Satanic Hellslaughter and also Gibbed. And those are great splits, especially Gibbed. Gibbed is such a good Japanese band that's just so harsh. These are great splits, and they're like pretty cheap to track down too, because no one cares about them. but Satanic Hell Slaughter is really good too. But
I think Gibbed is on the thank you list on this album, or on the
yeah,
demo at least.
Get back.
Gibbed.
I believe it. Like their sound isn't terribly far away from Multiplex, and they they were in cahoots to some degree. But the Gibbed is a bit more straightforward. There's no real industrial kind of approach to it. It's just straight up grinding death metal, and it's pretty brutal. They have an EP called Life Eternal, which kind of makes me think of Mayhem. But yeah, I don't know, man. World, I don't know what I can say. They haven't already said it. I just love the bizarre, futuristic, dystopian feel this album like just permeates everywhere. It's something that not many bands have pulled off successfully, and it's kind of one of a kind in that sense.
Totally.
I think, like in terms of like vibes, without necessarily talking about musical comparison, Red Harvest have albums and tracks that kind of give a similar vibe because that's kind of what they've like directed their focus to. But these guys, like the music itself, if it wasn't for those weird intros and those like weird little things here and there, like the solos and the layered vocals on Billions of Dimensions and the intro to the first couple tracks, it wouldn't be. It would kind of just be a death grind album, but those small things that just push it over the edge into weirdness while remaining rooted in a very familiar death grind sound, it's fantastic. The only band I can really think of that kind of runs a parallel in that sense is Nocturnus, because they really nail that sci-fi mix or sci-fi kind of sound without deviating terribly far from like an established death metal norm. I'm not saying either the two bands sound alike, but just the way that they went about incorporating those sounds to give it a certain vibe pulled off really well.
Yeah, like either band could work without the without the samples. Like it could work without that. But then you're right. It probably would just be. It could have some kind of anti-capitalist fucking lyrical theme, or like some gore lyrical theme. It wouldn't really matter, and it would just be another
exactly.
death metal. I mean, not totally. It would be musically unique, but
less unique.
It's sort of hard to say. That's why I was kind of I was slightly hesitant if I should bring this on ever, just because we talked about them slightly before, and I'm like, is this just another death metal album in a way? But
Hell to the no.
probably not. I would say probably
those,
not.
No.
All those things that make the album, all those things that make the album unique, you know, taking those out would be like that stupid truncated version of Bloody Kisses, where they took out all the weird like interlude songs. That is the charm of that album. All the weird shit they put in there, it just sucks all the life out of it. It's still a good album, but it's missing that weird flavor that they put into it. It'd be the same thing with this. Take out those samples, those intros, those weird layered vocals, and the crazy like that solo was like, I don't know, echoing on itself. It was weird, but take those out and you have a listenable album, but it's not as unique.
Yeah,
I suppose so. I mean, I feel like the guitars kind of make it very unique. Well, the guitars and the bass together are, doing this like very strange angular like that's where this kind of feels like disharmonic orchestra, where it's like very mathematical in the way that they write, and it's surprisingly fucking like what would even be the word, tightly played for this type of music.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
saying
I mean,
that this was like one of the most technical albums you heard.
who, me?
Yeah, the other night.
It's for its time, yes, and I would say even for now, probably. It's just kind of similar to a lot of things, with like taking out the weird like the musicianship that some of the parts do. Like there are some normal death metal riffs in here, but for the most part, it is pretty unique on its own, which like the technicality portion of it helps a lot. And probably it's at least the first three tracks are really really technical. I think the last few tracks on this album are a bit more normal, but they still have the eccentricities in there.
Plus, everything that led up to them kind of pre-establishes that vibe, anyways.
Yeah. What do you think of this, Paul, on like a technical death metal type of level? Like where how do you label this or put this? Like do you think it's a very technical album, like one of the most technical?
Uh, I would say that the musicianship is very technical. The way that they're stopping and starting on a dime
Yeah.
and just structurally technical. I don't know if the riffs themselves are like so much technical because
Some of them are.
they're kind of
Some of them aren't.
I'm thinking about like the chugging riffs,
Yeah.
but like even just to pull off those grooves in such like a mechanical way is is something that I would like to hear in more technical music. It's almost like um it almost seems like a bridge between uh like groove metal almost in a sense with like how rhythmic it is.
Yeah.
I guess that's what the industrial bands were heading towards anyway. At least like Fear Factory.
Yeah. In a way, it reminds me of when we covered Dominus. Like that album was really fucking rhythmic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really really heavy, and yeah, this is pretty technical and in like a really like a grindcore sense where they're just like stopping and starting, having breakneck tempo changes and grooves, one after another. And like you said, some of the riffs are technical, like the one we just heard, where it was like kind of doing like the just like squeezing in as much notes as they could
Yeah, the
within
never-ending riff.
yeah. And I think that the weird parts in there aren't so much like crutches as more of like step ups for this album to be what it is.
They're almost like little bridges into each other grooving section.
Yeah, because like without those things, like sure they would just be like another death metal album. It'd
Yeah.
still be good, but I think it's elevating it more so than like, oh, check out the album with the weird samples. It's more like just check out this fucking good album.
Check out the entire
Yeah.
album. Because I mean, even the rhythmic parts, like the chicka chicka.
Yeah, those are fucking sick.
They're and not only that, they are kind of in a weird place where it would be hard to learn and play that.
Yeah, because they'll do that and then they'll go into like a more like open section where the drums are more providing a beat. And I think in this last song they were doing a lot more. It was almost like a precursor to like deathcore where they're like syncopating the double kicks with the guitar chugs, and like that's something I haven't heard too much of during this time period. It was something more on the ends of like the 2000s where that started to come into play.
I mean, I guess I would say, like I've told you guys before, my favorite type of metal is just old death metal, and this sort of it does everything that I want it to do for an album that comes out at this time. It's got the secret formula how to write death metal.
Yeah, and it's hard to put it in like a place for me like to categorize it as anything besides like lumping it in with like the Carbonized album and like Disharmonic Orchestra, just some of like the more I guess abstract death metal of the time, because I lump those albums in with like Death and Roll, but it doesn't really make sense. It's just kind of like left field death metal, and this is definitely one that I would put in there.
If I'm being very honest with myself, I feel like I have the same kind of reaction to this as Fred does, in the sense that I like this album. I like it a lot. I don't know if it would be in my like top 10. You know what I mean? I like it's one of my it's one of my faves, but like out of stuff that I would usually come back to and like have a list of 10, I don't know that it would be in there. What do you think?
I think listening to it for the purpose of this
Yeah.
has made me realize that I probably would put it in, if not my top 10, then definitely top 20. Whereas before I would not necessarily have thought that, and just an album I really enjoy. I think this has made me realize that I probably would put it in my top something.
I feel like this album causes kind of a dilemma with me. It's like I wanted to cover it, I didn't want to cover it. It's one of my favorites. It's not one of my favorites. It's in this weird place where it's obviously good and it's cool, but it I don't know, the status of it is kind of I don't know, it's a little bit jarring to me still, I think.
Yeah,
Even though
I was gonna say it was funny when you were like coming to me about like, oh, should I bring this on? I'm like, yeah, of course. What the fuck? Why wouldn't you?
it's definitely interesting enough. It's definitely it's worthy of an episode. It's just different.
And you know, on top of that, not enough people know this fucking album.
Yo, Multiplex hit different though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Like is this a cult classic? Do death metal people know this one?
Fred, you're buzzing. You're giving me Multiplex vibes. There you go.
Yeah,
Really?
Fred's about to go dun 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 dun.
I haven't even moved my phone. What the hell? Hang on, let me push it further. Is it better now?
No, it came back. There it is.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't hear anything anymore. Or I hear it now, but whatever.
Keep going, Fred.
I don't know. What was I saying? I just think Japanese in general is overlooked as a scene. Like, how often do you hear Transgressor, Necrophile, Void, these guys, Multiplex, mentioned in like the pantheon of death metal or whatever? And I think that's in part because of that weird mix of influences that they tend to throw into these albums, where they don't always feel like pure death metal. But I think that just lends them like another level of extremity that kind of gives them that unique feel. So yeah, no, I definitely think this. I'd call it a cult classic, but mostly because of my own experience with it.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
know how many people really. I mean, it got enough attention to get reissued on Extreme, but I mean,
That guy knows everything.
yeah, like Dave Rodden's all over death metal. Like, he literally has them tattooed on his arm, and his arms. But I don't know. I don't see this album get mentioned often,
Neither
if
do
at
I.
all. And
Yeah,
but it's
so
also
maybe-
kind of that way with Japanese death metal in general. Like, they don't seem to get much recognition.
I will say this: if this exposes this band and this album to anybody, then we did our job. Because I think people need to hear it, regardless of if it's a favorite, if it's the godliest album or whatever you think about it. I think death metal people just need to hear it because it's
Yeah.
quite cool.
Yeah, in the comments, let us know if we should have J Dog do a paid ski on this to get more people to check it out.
I kind of lump this album with Desperate Truth from Void. They're two death metal albums from Japan that I really, really like.
Oh, with
that
two
tend not-
Ds.
Yeah. And even that album's like, it's got a bit of thrash. It's got black metal in it. It's kind of all over the place in that sense. But neither album gets enough mention as far as I'm concerned.
You know what I'll say too? What I like about the Multiplex album, I like that it's pretty much absent of thrash and heavy metal and black metal. I like that. I think that's what also gives it the industrial, like, soulless vibe. It almost doesn't have the heavy metal spirit to it. It's got something else.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. I couldn't describe what that is, but what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing I wanted to ask Fred. Who the hell is Red Harvest? Never heard of them.
Red Harvest, they're a
Yeah.
Norwegian band that
What would you
started
recommend to
off.
listen to?
Cold Dark Matter is the one that I like the most.
Okay.
So they kind of started off as like a weird thrash band, and like not bad, but not special either. So the first few albums, No Man's Land, Beauty, Hybrid, those are they're fine, but they're not like super interesting. Cold Dark Matters, where they kind of took a hard veer towards this cold industrial death black metal sort of thing, and that one is like has such a really pure industrial mechanical sound to it. Like the title track is fantastic. Starts off with some of the third track from fucking Multiplex. What was it called?
Well, I pressed play for like 1 millisecond. It was like
Yeah,
yeah, it
just
was
like
already
that
doing
track
that.
in Multiplex. It's a really similar start, and then it does that for a little bit. There's vocals that kind of talk for a little bit, and then it kind of explodes into this massive industrial track that's just cold and just dark. But
And it
it's
matters.
really good. I think I think Fenriz had something to do with this album too.
Radio
He
Fenris.
yeah he like uh, he wasn't a member or anything. He did guest something on that album. I don't know if he did guest drumming or guest vocals, but he was somewhere on there. But yeah, Cold Dark Matter is the album I'd recommend. The I think it was the next couple of albums after that were pretty solid in that style as well. If you're looking for something a bit more standard, kind of thrashy sort of thing, those first few albums are interesting, but not. You're not going to get the industrial, harsh vibes out of those.
All right. Paul, did you already get your last words in?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, I guess with that, bye bye, piggies.
Toodles.
Later, scum.
Suck it.